This page. This is the cover of SEGA Saturn Magazine, Volume 42 from December 5, 1997. The magazine is packed with the latest news, prominently featuring the highly anticipated RPG Grandia, alongside a Greisel, Panzer Dragoon RPG, and the unique adventure Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world. Other major titles covered include the explosive fighting game, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, the atmospheric Baroque, and the sequel Riven, the sequel to Myst. Visually, the cover is dominated by imagery from SEGA Touring Car Championship, highlighted just before its release. Inside, readers can expect previews and information on other exciting Saturn releases like Saturn Bomberman Fight, Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, and Zero Divide, The Final Conflict, as well as a comprehensive SEGA Saturn Complete Guide and a special feature delving into the secrets of game industry patents. It's clearly an issue loaded with essential info for any SEGA Saturn enthusiast. This page, presented in a dynamic, graffiti-inspired style, this page showcases a trio of highly anticipated SEGA Saturn titles, giving readers a glimpse of the diverse experiences available. Prominently featured is Sonic ER, described as the second installment in Project Sonic, bringing the Sonic family to full polygon 3D courses for action-packed racing with split-screen multiplayer. We also see Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 1, God of the Royal City, the first part of a grand 3-scenario drama, marking the series' arrival on the Saturn with its signature deep tactical battles, now rendered in impressive 3Ds. Finally, Zero Divide, the final conflict, previously noted as an upcoming fighting game, is highlighted here as the ultimate evolution of 3D fighters, praised for its metallic character rendering that utilizes the Saturn's capabilities and retaining the intense ring-edge combat the series is known for. The page also promotes a SEGA Saturn Festa event held at Tokyo Joyopolis, with a special day dedicated to Sonic R features, and introduces the Miss SEGA Saturn Festa for the month. It's a vibrant presentation of some key upcoming and recently released games for the platform. The next page features a bold, graphic style, centered around a large illustration resembling a tombstone filled with vibrant graffiti and cartoonish figures. A stylized character is prominently holding a futuristic gun, with several screens embedded within the artwork showcasing different games. This page highlights several key SEGA Saturn titles. We see information on J-League Pro Soccer Team Wotsukuru 2, a popular soccer simulation game where you take on the role of managing a J-League club, handling everything from player acquisition to tactics. There's also a look at SEGA Touring Car Championship, the arcade racing giant that brought intense, realistic touring car action with stunning polygon graphics to the Saturn, featuring iconic tracks. Additionally, the legendary RPG Grandia is mentioned, known for its epic story, deep combat system, and charming characters. The page captures the diverse gaming experiences available on the Saturn, from sports management and arcade racing to expansive role-playing adventures, all presented with a raw, energetic aesthetic that reflects the late 90s gaming scene. It also briefly touches on the SEGA Saturn hardware itself, emphasizing its quality software library, and promotes the SEGA Partners User Club for fans. This page features two highly regarded vertical scrolling shooters on the SEGA Saturn from developer Raising. The top section highlights a budget re-release of Tsukyu Gurentai, titled Tsukyu Gurentai Go Tokyu. This version is priced at 2,800 yen and was released on December 18th, notably including a playable demo of the critically acclaimed Battle Garega. The lower portion is a dedicated advertisement for Battle Garega itself, heralded as the craziest STG. The ad emphasizes that the Saturn version is a perfect reproduction of the intense arcade experience, featuring challenging gameplay and intricate systems. Battle Garega was scheduled for release in February 1998, priced at 5,800 yen, and was published by Electronic Arts Victor. The page showcases screenshots of the arcade perfect port, demonstrating the game's detailed graphics. This page features a prominent advertisement for Mahjong Gakuensai, a mahjong game released on the SEGA Saturn. The game centers around a school festival photography exhibition, where the player, as the photography club president, must challenge various beautiful female characters to mahjong matches. Winning convinces them to become models for the exhibition, while losing prevents progress towards completing the project before the festival deadline. The page showcases vibrant anime artwork of several of the game's key female characters, including their names, ages, and blood types. It also highlights special first press limited editions that offered exclusive bonuses, such as original character playing cards and the chance to win telephone cards through a lottery. Published by Make Software, Mahjong Gakuensai was released on November 6, 1997, and carries an 18+ age rating, indicating mature content. It presents a unique blend of strategy mahjong gameplay with character interaction and collection elements typical of the era. This page serves as the table of contents for the December 5, 1997 issue, Volume 42, of SEGA Saturn magazine. It outlines the major features and articles within. The main special feature on page 63 delves into the secrets of unknown patents within the game industry. Page 20 highlights a special report covering several major titles for the system, including the highly anticipated RPGs Grandia and Panzer Dragoon Saga. Listed here by its Japanese title, Azel Panzer Dragoon, RPG. Other notable games covered are Baroque, the visual novel Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, fighting game X-Men vs. Street Fighter, racing title Sega Touring Car Championship, the speedy platformer Sonic R, and the adventure game Riven, the sequel to Myst. On page 56, there is a special feature focused on the dating simulation game Refrain Love, likely coinciding with its imminent release. Finally, page 72 features a section dedicated to monthly Falcom magazine content, including an interview with Masamitsu Morita, and a piece titled, What If There Was Falcom Classic 2? A vibrant illustration of Fina from Grandia is prominently displayed on the right side of the page, hinting at the coverage of that game. This page serves as another index and feature breakdown for the magazine. It highlights several key sections, including new game releases like Dragon Master Silk Gaiden and Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 2. There's a preview section for upcoming software, such as Mystery Dungeon, Shirin the Wanderer, Magical School Lunar, and DJ Wars. Strategy guides are covered for titles like Devil Summoners, Soul Hackers, Zero Divide, The Final Conflict, and Rond. The page also features updates on arcade hits making their way to the system, specifically showcasing Rival Schools, United by Fate, and Cyber Troopers Virtual On Sex Over. An extensive game index provides page references for a wide range of titles, including major hits like Panzer Dragoon Saga, Grandia, Warcraft 2, Dark Saga, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Culdcept, Cotton 2, Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, Saturn Bomberman Fight, Sonic R, Battle Gorega, Bubble Symphony Baroque, Bluebreaker, Refrain Love, and Riven, the sequel to Myst, alongside many other games. Regular magazine sections, like news, reader contributions, and software reviews are also listed here. An image from Sega Touring Car Championship is present at the bottom. This page showcases the dating simulation game Refrain Love, a title known among Saturn fans for its charming characters and engaging story. The artwork features 3 distinct female characters, central figures in the game's narrative, giving potential players a glimpse into the cast they'll interact with. The title is prominently displayed, along with English taglines that hint at the game's romantic themes. This is clearly a promotional page detailing the game's release. It highlights the limited White Snow edition, which came packed with collectible bonuses like a premium music CD, special character cards, and power memory stickers. Nice extras for dedicated fans. The page also emphasizes features exclusive to the Sega Saturn version, specifically mentioning a significant addition of event graphics and an enhanced bonus mode, which was a great incentive for players to pick up the Saturn release. Release details are provided, including the launch date of November 27, 1997, and the standard price for the 2-disc set. There's even information about a related radio show, showing how Riverhill Soft built a media presence around the title. This page effectively serves as a detailed preview, generating excitement for the game by highlighting its exclusive content and bonus items. This page celebrates the Sega Saturn's 3rd anniversary since its launch on November 22. Initially facing challenges, the console has overcome them, with over 800 software titles released and cumulative worldwide shipments exceeding 5 million units by July 1997, solidifying its place in the market. The upcoming holiday season marks the 4th for the Saturn and promises the strongest lineup yet, fueled by promotions like the Oshirako disc campaign, expected to significantly boost sales. The page includes a timeline highlighting key milestones contributing to the Saturn's success, such as the initial launch sales performance, subsequent sales plateaus, and significant boosts from events like price cuts, down to 20,000 yen with the white model change in March 96. The release of popular peripherals like the multi-controller, and the impact of major software titles like Sakura Wars, which is noted for receiving a grand prize. Images show the console itself, both the original gray and the white model, along with the modem accessory and a screenshot from Virtua Fighter 2, one of the console's early and iconic fighting games. Additionally, the page features details about a digital circus event happening on November 22nd and 23rd at the new Chitose Airport in Sapporo, providing a unique venue for fans and travelers to experience SEGA Saturn. This event highlights Sega's continued engagement with its player base through public showcases. SEGA is buzzing with news. Virtua Fighter's Wolf Hawkfield is wrestling in a real-life All-Japan Pro Wrestling match, a unique crossover event. Sega's amusement parks across Japan are hosting festive Christmas and New Year events, hoping to draw in over 10 million visitors with themed activities. An OVA adaptation of Kizuna, Much to Learn, a romance-focused animated series, is coming soon. A new detective simulation minigame featuring talents Tatsuro Kamiyama and Shinji Kitano is also highlighted. Finally, the fighting game Virtua Tan is holding a national tournament with qualifying rounds across Sega AM facilities, leading to a grand final for top players. This page features a variety of news and events from the world of Sega. Japan Victor is running 2 campaigns. One bundles their Versus Saturn console with the popular game Battle Baldo for a limited time, and another offers various prizes like stereo systems and headphones through a lottery for purchasers of the twin operator peripheral. JVC is definitely active this winter. In event news, a massive release party was held for the Club Sega Remix album. The event featured numerous renowned domestic and international DJs and allowed attendees to enjoy free play of Sega Touring Car Championship, celebrating the album's successful launch. The mysterious series Psi Factor, presenting unexplained phenomena visually, is making its debut in Japan, with initial episodes already out and more coming soon. Get ready to explore facts beyond science. Hudson is launching Teku Teku Angel, a fascinating new device that combines a pedometer with a virtual pet game. Your real-world walking directly impacts your pet's growth and well-being, and they're giving some away to readers. Finally, Sega's toy series is getting some exciting new additions. There's the lock-on shooting toy that responds to voice commands for a cutting-edge experience, and a highly detailed figure of the elusive Evangelion Unit 04, a machine that was never shown in the anime. These additions promise great fun for fans and collectors. This page features news and releases from the Sega Saturn world. There was a big event for Sentimental Graffiti and Sotsugyu Vacation, Graduation Vacation, which included a cosplay party where the voice actors made an appearance, performing songs and hosting a talk show. It sounds like it was a huge hit with both cosplayers and fans. In music news, a new label called Honey Horman Label, specializing in soundtracks for PC Bishoujo games, has been launched. They're kicking things off with releases for games like Hukago Renai Club, After School Love Club, Kotobuki, and Queen of Darkside. As a special treat, they're even giving away exclusive telephone cards to readers who enter the contest. The page also highlights several music releases, including various artist albums and game soundtracks. Noteworthy releases include the soundtrack for the strategy game Tactical Fighter, the music collection for the dating sim Roommate, and the first volume of the soundtrack for the popular tokusatsu series Ultraman Dyna. It's great to see such a variety of music being released, catering to different tastes within the gaming community. This page features an illustration and description of a character named Suimu from the game The Story of the Seven Wind Islands. The main illustration shows Suimu, a green, pear-shaped creature wearing a small helmet with a crescent moon emblem and goggles. There is also a signature in red text that reads, Suimu. Below the illustration, the text describes Suimu as a waterman, living on the first floor of a tree apartment in the town square. He is a collector of stones, not necessarily for their beauty or shape, but for the existence of the stone itself, which he finds very appealing. He apparently travels around the islands collecting stones, but no one has ever seen him walking, and it's a mystery how he carries them back. He also constantly smokes what is described as water tobacco, calling him quite a character. A section from a graphic designer provides insight into creating Suimu. It mentions the difficulty in capturing his wobbly feel, and that the character was drawn using multiple joints. It also mentions that his pose was difficult initially, and that he actually has feet, although they are not used in the game, a detail the director checked rigorously. Small screenshots show the character model in a more in-game sprite style. The overall page provides a detailed look at one of the unique characters from the story of the Seven Wind Islands, highlighting his peculiar appearance and habits. This page presents the SEGA Saturn Magazine's Data Station Shop Data Top 15, showcasing the weekly software sales ranking. It details the estimated weekly and cumulative sales figures for the top 15 selling games, along with a screenshot and a brief comment on each title's performance or appeal. Claiming the top spot this week is the new release, Falcom Classics. It seems the TV commercials and appeal to 80s RPG fans have given it a strong debut. Right behind is All Japan Pro Wrestling featuring Virtua, which drops to second place but is still performing well. Culticept holds strong at third, noted for its robust support thanks to the card game boom. Dead or Alive moves up to fourth, praised for its fast-paced matches, while Super Robot Wars Fae is still popular, increasing its cumulative sales significantly at fifth. Other notable entries include the new release Gakuensai debuting at sixth, Rondo of Swords at seventh, and perennial favorites like Pro Yaku, Greatest 997, and Saturn Bomberman making the list. The comments provide insight into why each game is selling well, highlighting features like arcade ports, strategic depth, or popular franchises. The ranking provides a snapshot of the current market trends and which titles are resonating most with Saturn owners. This page presents the SEGA Saturn Magazine's Data Station, focusing on user requests for game conversions and the latest arcade popularity. The User Data Top 20 highlights the games SEGA Saturn owners most want to see ported to the console. Topping the list is Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, followed closely by D's Dinner 2. Other highly requested titles include favorites like Pocket Fighter, the Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest series, To Heart, and Street Fighter II. Side panels point out that Vampire Savior 2 and True Love Story are also popular conversion requests, though progress seems limited for both at this time according to the provided data. The introductory text notes that D's Dinner 2 and The House of the Dead are gaining significant momentum as potential conversion candidates. Below this, the Shop Data Top 15 shifts focus to the arcade scene, showing the current popularity of video games in arcades, which often hints at future console ports. The top contenders include heavy hitters like Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Virtua Striker 2, and Tekken 3. Finally, the one-point check game section features specific arcade titles. Street Fighter 2, I's Second Impact, Giant Attack is highlighted, showcasing a screenshot of Akuma, Guki in Japan, confirming his participation, and noting the addition of new X special moves. Final Halen is presented with a horse racing screenshot, and Motor Raid, a futuristic bike racing game, is also featured, indicating these popular arcade titles are ones to keep an eye on. This SEGA Saturn Magazine Data Station highlights user anticipation for upcoming games, particularly with Christmas approaching. The Hopeful New Soft Top 30, ranked by user points, showcases the most anticipated titles. Grandia leads the list at number 1, followed by Sakura Wars 2 and Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World. Each of these top 3 titles is 100% complete and features a screenshot. The full top 30 chart details game titles, rankings, publishers, release dates, and points. Additionally, Pickup Check Game spotlights Sonic R and Refrain Love, Anata ni Aitai. Other check, coming soon. Previews Baroque and Galaxy Fraulein Yuna 3, Lightning Angel with screenshots. This page presents the weekly SEGA Saturn Readers Check, Volume 77, where readers vote on released games to create a ranking based on average score. As of November 21st, 801 Saturn titles have been released and are included in this poll. The odds chart shows the current ranking of these games. Leading the pack at number 1 is Dead or Alive, holding its position. Making a significant splash is Culticept, which debuts at number 2. Digital Pinball, Last Gladiators Ver. 9.7 is ranked 3rd. The text highlights that while some titles like Super Robot Taisen 5th have fallen in rank, others like Album Club are rising. A notable drop is All Japan Pro Wrestling, featuring Virtua, which fell sharply from 2nd to 51st place. The page includes screenshots of Culticept, showcasing its card game elements, and All Japan Pro Wrestling featuring Virtua, depicting the wrestling action. A section discusses the wave attack of new software and the card game Vanguard, represented by Culdicept's strong debut. Despite its fall in rank this week, the commentary still mentions All Japan Pro Wrestling's appeal, especially referencing its high ranking in previous weeks. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Reader's Check ranking list, presenting titles further down the chart in the Odds Chart Saturn B section. The focus then shifts to new releases the readers are voting on. Culdicept is highlighted again, receiving strong reader support and ranking high, praised for its beautiful graphics and deep gameplay, although some found the card variety and map volume limited, and the CPU opponent challenging in versus play. Moving down, Layer Section 2 is introduced as a dark horse, a known shooter series. Readers noted the enhanced movie sequences and unique elements positively. However, criticisms included frame rate drops, difficulty discerning enemy projectiles against the background, confusing hit detection, and lengthy playtime. Comparisons were made unfavorably against its PlayStation and arcade counterparts and other Saturn shooters. 2 titles are flagged under caution. Lost World. Jurassic Park ranked low, with reader comments pointing out weak sound relative to the visuals and difficult character controls, though some found mastering the required technical skill rewarding. Striker 96 received a very low score. While some aspects like camera angles and presentation were appreciated, the overly strong CPU, lack of Japanese text, and poor game balance were major detractors, leading readers to describe it as unsatisfactory for soccer fans. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Reader's Check ranking list, presenting the Odds Chart Saturn C, which covers titles ranked from the high 200s down into the mid 500s. This section features a broad range of games across various genres, including titles like Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Lunar, Silver Star Story Complete, Rayman, Destruction Derby, Die Hard Trilogy, and Gex, among many others. A prominent side section focuses on the volatility of rankings for GAL games and character-based titles, asking if their popularity is heavily tied to timing or trend. The commentary highlights significant rank fluctuations, noting that a game featuring Ejima dropped 3 ranks, while Can Can Bunny Extra saw a jump of 58 ranks, and Pocanto Hit surged an impressive 252 ranks. Another title, Daisuki, also rose by 106 ranks. The section includes a picture of a woman, likely the mentioned celebrity Ejima, and a screenshot of a game, possibly Pocanto Hit, which appears to be a pachinko or slot machine style game with characters. The editors point out that these types of games seem particularly susceptible to rapid shifts in popularity, suggesting their appeal might be more fleeting compared to other genres. The next page continues the SEGA Saturn Reader ranking list, presenting the Odds Chart Saturn D, which covers titles ranked from 572 down to 640. The main feature section spotlights the action game, Silhouette Mirage, released in 1997. The game earned high scores from both readers and the magazine, receiving praise as a top-tier action title. The article emphasizes the core gameplay mechanic, where the player's facing direction determines their attribute, affecting how they deal damage and defend against specific enemy types. This unique system, developed by Treasure, is highlighted as providing deep and satisfying gameplay. Reader comments echo this, praising the attribute system, the rewarding learning curve, and the visual polish. Developers also chimes in, encouraging players to experience the game's depth. A separate small piece focuses on the character Shaina from Silhouette Mirage, noting her energetic and forthright personality. Another section features a recurring ranking update, mentioning the 5th defeat of a character called Emperor Death, and discussing the status of games like Striker 96, complete with a screenshot of the soccer game. This page previews upcoming SEGA Saturn software. Falcom Classics, a collection of classic games, is noted as a solid port, scoring a 7.66. Mahjong Gakuen Sai received a mixed reception with a 5.0, while Asozora no Tsubasa Gotha World scored a 5.66, praised for its simulation but criticized for complexity. The Disk Station title, I Miss You, disappointed, receiving a lower score than its PC counterpart. The page also features an odds chart for SEGA Saturn peripherals and reader comments on various games. It discusses current popular titles like Culdicept and Dead or Alive. Finally, contests are highlighted, with readers predicting scores for upcoming games and winners of previous contests announced, with prizes like joysticks being awarded. This page dives deep into the magic and skill systems of the upcoming RPG Grandia, titled, "Adventurers Can Use Magic Too, You Know." It promises a special report at 100% completion ahead of the December 18th release, priced at 7,800 yen on a 2-disc Chrondrom 2 set. The focus here is on how players will utilize and level up their characters' magical abilities. The article explains that Grandia features a variety of magic types, essential for combat, including elemental spells like fire and water, as well as combined attributes like blizzard. Learning magic is tied to an item called a mana egg, which allows a character to acquire one magical attribute. Finding these mana eggs, often hidden in dungeons or available for trade in towns, is crucial for expanding a party's magical repertoire. Each attribute has different levels of spells, from basic level 1 up to stronger spells, with 3 spells per attribute per level mentioned. The key to mastering magic lies in using it. Spells and attributes level up as they are cast, leading to more powerful abilities. This system encourages players to actively use magic in battle to progress. The page includes screenshots showcasing various magic effects, and the menu for selecting which attribute to learn from a mana egg. There's also a note about combat skills, leveling up through use, shown with a screenshot of Justin learning a technique. The next page dives into the specifics of single attribute magic in Grandia, expanding on the concept of mana eggs and elemental spells introduced previously. It details the 4 primary magic types: water, earth, fire, and wind, explaining their general purpose and showcasing specific spells within each element. Water magic focuses on support, primarily for recovery and status effects. Spells like Merkle heal allies, while Snooze can put enemies to sleep, offering strategic advantages. Leveling up water magic also uniquely increases a character's maximum HP, making it vital for party survivability. Earth magic centers around defense and debilitating enemies. Spells like Tremor can bind foes to the ground, preventing them from acting, while Defloss reduces enemy defenses. Mastering earth magic enhances a character's defense stats, making them more resilient in battle. Fire magic is dedicated to offense and raw damage. Spells like Vatadean create a localized explosion. Vatadean Flame unleashes a wide-area pillar of fire, and Vatadean Strike focuses multiple projectiles on a single target. Fire magic is particularly useful for boosting the damage output of party members with lower physical attack, and leveling it increases a character's agility, allowing them to act faster in combat. The page shows screenshots illustrating the visual effects of these spells in action. The Grandia magic system features wind magic, utilizing the power of the wind for both offensive and supportive spells. Wind spells like the ranged Howl and the speed-boosting Runner are enhanced as the character levels, also increasing HP. The system introduces composite attribute magic, powerful spells formed by combining 2 single magic attributes. Opposing elements are incompatible. Forest magic, earth plus water, exemplifies this, offering status effect recovery for allies and spells that confuse enemies or boost speed. Acquiring composite spells requires leveling the individual constituent attributes. Frequent use of single attribute spells accelerates the learning of composite spells. This progression is demonstrated, showing how using the Howl spell leads to mastering the composite wind spell. The next page delves deeper into Grandia's composite magic system, focusing on 3 more elemental combinations. First is Bakuretsu, combining fire and earth attributes. While primarily designed for wide-area attacks like the powerful Zunga, it also includes supportive spells like Waku, which boosts an ally's attack power. This category is known for visually impressive attack magic, such as Meteor Strike, although this particular spell is a single-target attack, despite the category's focus. Next is Fubuki, which merges wind and water magic. This type specializes in ice-based attacks and hindering enemies. Spells here can freeze water into ice spikes for damage, Shikia, or apply cold effects that reduce enemy movement and agility. Korude, Pikin. The graphical style for these spells heavily features blue and white tones. Finally, Inazuma combines wind and fire elements, manifesting as powerful lightning magic. These spells largely consist of wide-area attacks, converting the power of fire into electrical discharge guided by wind. Examples include Tenrai and Raiga for area damage, and the devastating Ryurai for single targets. Unlike some other composite types, attack support magic is less common here, with the focus squarely on offensive lightning strikes. This page shifts focus from the composite magic system to the unique character skills in Grandia. It explains that, unlike magic, these special abilities, or Waza, don't use MP but consume SP skill points, which are recovered through combat actions like attacking or taking damage. The emphasis is on utilizing these character-specific skills effectively in battle. Featured here are 3 main characters and their distinct skill sets. Justin's skills are based on his freestyle swordsmanship and ability with various weapons like axes and maces, demonstrated by powerful attacks like V-Slash and Womp-Break, and the ground-shaking shockwave. Fina, the adventurer, specializes in skills using her favored knife and whip, including ranged attacks like knife throw and wild throw, and the paralyzing numb whip. Tu's abilities incorporate her companion Pui, alongside bows and maces, showcasing fun and effective moves like Pui Fire and the multi-target bow skill, Rapid Fire. The page also details how skills are learned. Simply by repeatedly using a weapon type, you increase its proficiency level, which in turn allows you to learn new skills associated with that weapon. A screenshot of the skill menu illustrates how skill levels in different weapon types grant bonuses and unlock new abilities, highlighting the importance of practice. Grandia's initial preview focuses on its story and early impressions. The adventure begins at the Salt Ruins, where Justin meets Leite, initiating a quest tied to the ancient angel civilization and the search for answers in Alent. Reviewers praise the game's lighthearted tone, despite complex systems and detailed graphics. One reviewer loved the cheerful dialogue and vast text. The battle system, which allows for manual control and character growth through different fighting styles, was praised. Another was emotionally impacted by the story, specifically Justin's departure. They lauded the balanced and engaging battle system. The final reviewer highlighted character progression, emphasizing how party members evolve based on weapon and skill use, leading to diverse party builds and character attachment. Screenshots showcase the game's visuals, including a ship at sea, emotional story moments, and dungeon exploration. This excerpt previews Panzer Dragoon Saga, focusing on the protagonist, Edge, and his journey. After escaping a creature zone, Edge meets Gash, a young man offering assistance. In exchange for information, Gash asks Edge to deliver an item, and Edge accepts. The story summary teases an adventure filled with mysteries, new revelations, and updated enemy information. The visuals highlight Edge and his dragon in a desert battle. The game, titled Azel, Panzer Dragon RPG in Japan, is for the SEGA Saturn and is slated for release on January 29, 1998 on 4 Candela's room discs. A special report indicates the game is 60% complete. This landmark RPG is known for its unique battle system and immersive world. This page continues the coverage of Panzer Dragoon Saga, picking up the narrative after Edge meets Gash. The focus is on the journey to Katina's village, which is discovered to be destroyed by hostile creatures. Gash's original objective is ruined, leading him to join Edge for a time. Despite its state, Katina's village serves as an important early-game campsite, where players can recover hit points, restore stats, and save their progress. Gash quickly becomes a key resource, offering a wealth of information on the world, covering topics from desert survival and enemy types to the lore of the Empire and the dragons. A specific point of intrigue is highlighted. Gash is searching for a mysterious entity referred to as the Absolute Guest, a subject he considers forbidden to discuss further. The page also touches on the game's deep lore, discussing the dragons being seen as gods, the concept of the Age of God from the Old World, and how the Empire might be using this history for propaganda. For combat, a key strategy is advised. Focus on using the Berserk attack against groups of enemies, as this yields significantly more experience points compared to defeating single foes. Utilize Berserk points freely and replenish them at the campsite. The next page continues covering Panzer Dragoon Saga, detailing the journey through the Goril Desert, also known as the Worm Territory, with Gash. Following Gash's instructions is crucial, as you encounter new desert enemies for the first time. The environment features several points of interest you can lock onto, including a mysterious sunken ship, although you may not be able to fully interact with everything early on. The map screen has been improved, making navigation clearer by showing your direction and progress. As the name suggests, this area is home to giant creatures called worms. While Gash notes, they are usually docile if not provoked. Their burrows serve a dual purpose. They can be used as shortcuts to navigate the desert, and sometimes hide valuable items. A sidebar even compares these worms to a similar powerful enemy from the original Panzer Dragoon. The page also includes a traveling guide, offering helpful tips. The radar screen provides a visual indicator of danger. Its color changes from blue, safe, to yellow and then red, as the likelihood of encountering enemies increases, with a blinking red indicating extreme danger. A useful shortcut method is presented for avoiding unnecessary battles, involving locking onto cave entrances from a distance and entering, which keeps the radar blue inside. While enemies here are tough, using berserk attacks effectively, as mentioned previously, is key to winning quickly and maximizing experience points. Exploration is encouraged in this wide area, and thorough searching reveals there are no overly complex gimmicks. The next page continues detailing the journey through the desert in Panzer Dragoon Saga. Following the destruction of Kaya's village, Kyle and Gash venture into the desert, relying on clues and Gash's knowledge to defeat enemies and reach the next area. This page highlights the powerful boss of the worm territory, the zoo. This beast emerges from a hole and has a flat body with numerous vents spewing hot gas, making it a formidable foe with no easily exploitable safe zones, reminiscent of ancient trilobites. It's also noted that enemy names have been updated since earlier previews, now adopting a more distinct Panzer style. Examples shown include creatures now called Kuru, Shaburi, and their nests, Torakora, Marakora, Bamosu, Tupu, and Ashuti. Finally, the page previews the next destination, the Oasis of Grief. This area, found after navigating the worm territory, offers a lush oasis for respite and hints at an even stronger boss awaiting you. Following Gash's guidance remains fundamental for success in the adventures to come. A large illustration of a creature covers the lower part of the page, possibly hinting at future encounters. This page delves into the intensive motion capture process behind the cinematic sequences in Panzer Dragoon Saga. It highlights the incredible effort required to achieve the realistic character movements and performances seen in the game's cutscenes. The developers undertook an unprecedented attempt to create all the game's movies using motion capture. This proved to be a challenging endeavor, requiring significant trial and error. Key staff members, including Mr. Futagi, planning, and Mr. Hosokawa, designer, recall the difficulties, such as the cold conditions in the warehouse where filming took place. The motion capture workflow involved actors practicing scenes together, recording their performances on video, and then individually capturing the movements with sensors while referencing the video. This meticulous process, which included detailed direction on timing and positioning, took approximately 4 months just for the capture work. Images show the filming location, which appears to be a Spartan warehouse, as well as the staff warming themselves with heaters and monitoring the actors' performances on screen. There's even a glimpse of a peculiar device described as a special dragon, used to align the actors' gaze. Additionally, the page touches on a specific scene between Edge and Azazel, noting that instead of a fierce battle, it's a conversation set in a surprisingly peaceful, yet eerie, ancient ruin, hinting at the nuanced character interactions in the game. This page dives deeper into the technical side of creating the stunning cinematics for Panzer Dragoon Saga, specifically highlighting the magnetic motion capture system they employed. This unique system uses a magnetic field to track markers on the actors, allowing real-time capture. Though it's noted that aggressive movements can cause issues with the data, the developers face significant hurdles in timing multiple actors' performances and processing the massive amount of captured data. Despite the technical challenges and extensive trial and error, the focus remained firmly on crafting a compelling drama rather than just impressive CGI effects. The result, they suggest, is a unique cinematic experience for the player. A fun detail revealed is the use of humble beer crates as versatile props on the motion capture stage, standing in for everything from chairs to the dragon itself. They even jokingly adopted the height of a beer crate as a unit of measurement. Dominating the page is a large illustration showcasing key characters from Panzer Dragoon Saga, including Azazel, Edge, and Gash, hinting at the game's diverse cast. Finally, there's a teaser for the next page, which promises an in-depth look at the mysterious weapons of the Empire. Baroque is a real-time RPG where players explore dungeons battling aberrations. Combat focuses on the Purification Sword and other items. Core stats are HP and VT, influencing stamina and, indirectly, health. Status effects like poison impact both player and enemy, reflecting the game's realism. Experience points earned from combat lead to level-ups. The game features ambient sound design, prioritizing atmosphere and 3D sound for immersion. Item usage involves pausing for strategic selection and can include direct use or throwing. Unexplained items, such as the box, encourage experimentation. The purification gun suggests diverse combat options. The game is currently 65% complete, with the letters B, R, A, and O appearing prominently. Baroque is a unique RPG centered around the Nervous Tower, a multi-layered dungeon with increasingly difficult aberrations on each floor. Players descend through floors composed of interconnected rooms with interactive elements. Cutscenes are primarily reserved for the beginning and end, though multiple conclusion possibilities lead to varied scenes. Dialogue with NPCs is essential, presented as text-based interactions. A hands-on preview highlights the game's real-time combat, praising its responsiveness and visual effects, despite not being a pure action title. The game runs smoothly on the Saturn, showcasing strong programming. Kazunari Yonemitsu directs the game. This page delves into the mysterious entities known as aberrations, Igyo, that populate the Nervous Tower in Baroque. Their origins and purpose remain unknown, but their singular goal is to eliminate the protagonist. Director Kazunari Yonemitsu refers to these varied creatures, over 20 types appearing in the game, as twisted existences. This spread introduces several of these beings, detailing their appearance, behavior, and attack patterns. Featured aberrations include the Kokuto head, a being of unstable bubbles that attacks by launching mental bubbles, and the unsettling hangwands, which dangles from the ceiling and attacks with poison or drops down unexpectedly. We also see 17, a swift, unicycle-like creature that attacks with kicks, and Gurio, a small, quick fiend known for stealing items. The plant-like Raisha moves slowly on roots, attacking with whip-like tendrils or scattering pollen, while the heavily armored Tankjo fires shells from afar, though its movement direction is fixed. The page includes images showcasing each aberration's unique design, along with brief details on their stats and attack methods, providing insight into the bizarre challenges awaiting players in the tower. This page continues the exploration of the bizarre aberrations encountered within the Nervous Tower in Baroque. Featured here is the Olhaganus, a futuristic, vulture-like being that slides along the floor, attacking with electrical light bullet projectiles. It can gather energy for more powerful shots, or even self-destruct. The Festum is a pot-shaped creature with a floating shell that fires ice arrows from its chest, offering brief respite as it prepares its attacks. Ares, appearing regal with large hands and horse legs, attacks physically and can also drop a black liquid. The Magician, integrated with a tarot card it uses to move, is a close-range threat capable of splitting or warping. Other strange entities include the Hananeep, which pinches players with symbol-like plates while shuffling like a handcart, its name also hinting at inhibiting growth. The seemingly innocent Jerome floats and smiles, but ruthlessly chases players at high speed, occasionally self-destructing, reminiscent of classic card soldiers. The Johanna Kyon is a twin mummy-like form assaulting with amplified sound waves. Sokompo, a fish swimming in a pot with a beak-like face, attacks by spinning and spitting liquid. Finally, there are stationary traps like the Moon and Bubugle, both grotesque faces that attack by breathing fire, and the Shin Monis, an insect-like being that drains player vitality and appears to be invulnerable. The variety and strangeness of these foes are a hallmark of the game's unsettling atmosphere. This page officially unveils the SEGA Saturn version of the wildly popular digital pet, Tamagotchi. Having previously announced the move, this page provides solid evidence of the game's existence and features, promising a world packed with elements unique to the Saturn platform. It explains the core concept of Tamagotchi for the uninitiated, raising a digital alien pet through care, leading to various forms of evolution. The page showcases the impressive variety of species available, including the original characters, brand new types, and even hidden ones, all appearing in a dedicated Tamagotchi room. It visually depicts the creature's life cycle, from the initial egg stage through the baby, child, and adult forms, emphasizing how care influences the final evolution. Features like naming your pet, a history museum to track their growth, and details on new species and their evolutionary paths are highlighted, giving fans a glimpse into the expanded Tamagotchi experience on the Saturn. The next page delves into the essential gameplay mechanics of the SEGA Saturn Tamagotchi, centering on the crucial element of Care. It details the various actions players must perform to keep their digital pets happy and healthy, showcasing functions like feeding, managing bathroom needs, treating sickness, and administering discipline. Screenshots provide visual examples of these interactions within the game's environment. The page also explores where Tamagotchi live, revealing a vibrant park setting that changes with the seasons. This world is populated by characters like Dr. Banzo and Mikachu. And importantly, the SEGA Saturn version allows players to care for multiple Tamagotchis simultaneously within this space. Basic game information is also provided, identifying it as a raising simulation developed by Bandai, intended for single-player, recommended for all ages, with a planned late January release date and an undecided price. This page showcases some of the vibrant minigames available in the SEGA Saturn Tamagotchi title, expanding on the daily care routines discussed previously. Players can engage their Tamagotchi in various activities to boost their mood and improve abilities. One game shown is Jumping Hurdles, where you control your Tamagotchi's speed with the D-pad and jump over obstacles. Success in this game strengthens their body stat. There's also Panel Match, a learning-focused minigame where you match panels based on a displayed pattern. This seems tied to improving their learning ability. The simple but fun Look This Way, HOI, involves guessing which direction the Tamagotchi will turn, rewarding correct guesses with happiness. Finally, Ready, Set, Run is a race game. The text hints that, unlike the Game Boy version's competition, this version might allow Baby Gotchi or Adult Gotchi to run together. The SEGA Saturn version significantly powers up the minigame aspect, adding more learning and exercise games. These activities contribute directly to your Tamagotchi's growth, building upon the fundamental care aspects. A quote from Bandai expresses excitement about showing the game and the wide variety of Tamagotchi species players will encounter in this new, happy world that feels like a toy box. This page delves into the complex world of Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world, presenting the second part of a strategy guide for this highly regarded adventure game known for its intricate multi-story system. The guide focuses on explaining how to use the game's unique auto-diverge mapping system, ADMS, which is visually represented as a flowchart. The explanation details the different elements of the guide's flowchart key. A indicates the next destination, B provides a summary of the event that occurs, cautioning against spoilers, C marks a branching point linked to the map below, D shows how the story branches from that point, e.g., right, center, left, and E offers helpful points like item locations or puzzle solutions. The page features artwork of several key female characters from the game at the top and displays a segment of the branching ADM's map with numbered nodes at the bottom. Information about the game's release date, December 4th by Elf. Pricing, standard and mouse bundled editions, 18+ recommendation, shuttle mouse compatibility, and its distribution across 3 CRUDROMs is also included. This guide aims to help players navigate the game's numerous paths to the various endings. This guide details the next chapter of Yuno, Trust Easily Crumbled, focusing on the fallout from the prologue. The protagonist, Takuya, faces immediate conflict with Mio at school, after an anonymous article exposing her father's corruption is posted. This sets the stage for a day filled with strained relationships and the consequences of prior actions. The guide uses a flowchart format to navigate players through key locations like the school hall, rooftop, and various other destinations, including the coast and Shimazu home. Screenshots illustrate character interactions with Mio, Kana, Ayumi, and Yuka. Key strategy points are highlighted, indicating critical steps, like temporarily leaving the school, to trigger specific events. Further, it explains the flexibility of visiting certain locations in any order, while noting the immediate event triggered upon returning to the coast from geotechnics, offering players guidance through Yuno's complex narrative structure. This guide segment focuses on the Mio disappearance section of the visual novel Yuno. After Mio leaves home, the player, as Takuya, must find her with Mizuki Kana and Yuki Arena. A flowchart directs players through key locations like geotechnics, the health room, and Ryuzoji residence. The guide outlines acquiring the silver medal, involving searches at Ryuzoji's and the Old Well. Obtaining the gold key, necessary for a rope, is limited to Mizuki Kana's route, requiring save and reload tactics if followed early. The main objective is to meet Mizuki and Yuki twice each. Screenshots highlight their character portraits and changing dialogue with each encounter. Mizuki appears randomly at school, while Yuki appears downtown. The guide provides specific steps and visuals for a successful search. This page continues the guide for Yuno, focusing on the sequence where Takuya searches for Mio, finds a mysterious cave near Futago Rock, and enters with Yuki. The narrative involves navigating a dangerous cave filled with traps and puzzles, eventually leading to a reunion with Mio. The guide provides a flowchart detailing the steps inside the cave. Key actions include finding Mio's bag, obtaining a flashlight, entering the cave with either Yuki or Mizuki, and navigating specific points, G through O. Important items to find are the black and white medals and a jewel, found after pressing a button inside the cave. The guide notes that the cave map is not available unless a specific item is obtained, making navigation challenging. There are several screenshots showing Yuki speaking, Mio sleeping, and scenes from inside the dark cave, including the entrance and a mechanism for obtaining items. The guide emphasizes the strategic choices, such as whether to press a certain button, and the impact of your chosen partner, Yuki or Mizuki, on obtaining items like the jewel. The path involves finding an iron sword, solving a coffin puzzle, encountering an underground lake, and finally reaching a door to the outside world, which leads to an ending. The guide stresses careful navigation due to the confusing layout. This guide details navigating Yuno's underground cave, starting from point J. It explains how to use black and white medals on door 4, referencing image guidance for placement. The iron sword, obtained at point 6, is used at point 5. The guide also covers a two-door mechanism at point 6 and presents a simplified cave map. The handy computer, often missed, is located near Professor Imamura's body at point 5, requiring a memo pad for the login. Point N explains the logic puzzle on the coffin at point 5, a base 12 Picross game, providing conversion keys and hints. Finally, point O details the path to the exit, requiring a disc and the silver medal which is consumed. The guide previews the next issue's pre-release special. This page features a pre-release special for the upcoming release of X-Men vs. Street Fighter on the SEGA Saturn. The article expresses surprise at the incredibly high quality of this port, highlighting that it achieves a perfect transplant of the arcade experience, largely thanks to the required 4 MB expansion RAM cartridge. The page introduces two key characters, Ryu from Street Fighter and Cyclops from the X-Men, showing their character art and a brief description of their fighting styles and backgrounds. It emphasizes that while the game is a fusion of two major fighting series, the mechanics, especially the special moves, differ significantly from previous games. Trying to play with the same feel as older Street Fighter titles will lead to trouble. A table of common commands shared by all characters is presented, covering basic actions like dashing, guarding, throws, and variable attacks. Character-specific move lists for Ryu and Cyclops are also shown, detailing their special moves and hyper combos, along with brief descriptions of their properties and recommended uses. Ryu's ability to throw multiple Hadokens and Cyclops' optic blast variations are discussed. The article stresses the importance of mastering these new movesets and understanding the nuances of the game's system, enabled by the expansion cartridge, which allows for a 100% accurate arcade conversion. The game is rated 100% complete and requires the 4 MB expansion RAM cartridge. This page continues the X-Men vs. Street Fighter preview, detailing 3 more characters, Ken, Wolverine, and Chun-Li. Ken is Ryu's rival, whose Hadoken is faster than Ryu's, and his Shoryuken is invincible on startup, though his Tatsumaki Senpukyaku has limited use. His hyper combos, like Shinri Uken and Shippu Jinraikyaku, are highlighted for their invincibility and combo potential. Wolverine is described as a powerful mutant, whose normal attacks are so effective. The article questions the necessity of special moves. Useful techniques include the follow-up on Berserker Barrage, the chasing ability of Tornado Claw, and the safe Drill Claw. Berserker Barrage X is noted for its speed and combo utility, while Weapon X is slow to start but fast once active. Chun-Li is introduced as an Interpol investigator, with excellent fighting skills and particularly strong hyper combos. While her standard specials like Kikoken and Hyakuretsu are mentioned, her hyper combos, especially Kikoshu, with its invincibility and range, are emphasized for their use in combos. The article then dives into essential gameplay mechanics, reinforcing the idea that this is a perfect transplant of the arcade game. It stresses the critical role of dashing for both movement and offense, noting its versatility for attacking, guarding, and jumping, with only the inability to stop instantly being a limitation. Dash attacks extend reach and are vital for initiating aerial raves. Defensive techniques are also covered, including ground high/low guards, air guarding, and the advancing guard feature, which pushes the opponent away to create distance. This text reviews 6 characters from X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Storm utilizes weather control for area control and redirecting attacks, with screen-filling hypercombos. Charlie, the investigator, brings classic moves like Sonic Boom and Somersault Shell, and gains new pressure options. Gambit uses kinetic cards and staff for ranged attacks and rushdowns, with a powerful but slow hyper. M. Bison relies on Psycho Power, with projectile and mobile attacks, including signature rushdown moves. Magneto controls projectiles and movement, using magnetism to pull opponents and absorb hits, with screen-controlling hyper combos. Dhalsim zones with fire attacks and stretchy limbs, utilizing Yoga Teleport for unpredictability, and a devastating full-screen hyper combo. This page continues the character breakdown for X-Men vs. Street Fighter, featuring 6 more formidable combatants. We see the unstoppable Force Juggernaut, whose power is immense, and special moves are designed for destruction, including his signature head crush. Next is the Russian grappler Zangief, a wrestling powerhouse whose strength lies in devastating throws like the screw piledriver and atomic suplex. Sabretooth, a fierce brawler, is covered, known for his sharp claws and reliance on normal attacks, with hypercombos adding versatility. The quick and agile Cammy is also featured, focusing on fast rushdown tactics and effective aerial attacks like the Cannon Spike and Cannon Drill. Rogue, a key member of the X-Men, is highlighted for her ability to absorb opponents' powers and utilize a mix of powerful rushdown and absorption techniques. Finally, the page looks at Akuma, the master martial artist whose style echoes Ryu and Ken, but with unique variations and devastating hyper combos. The page provides detailed descriptions and move lists for each character, offering insights into their playstyles. This page provides a comprehensive look at SEGA Touring Car Championship for the SEGA Saturn, presented as a feature just before its release. The focus is on highlighting everything the Saturn port offers, emphasizing its status as a highly anticipated arcade transfer built on the advanced Model 2 hardware. The page details the game's 2 main modes, the arcade side and the Saturn side. The arcade side is touted as a perfect port of the original arcade experience, retaining its challenging difficulty and precise handling. It includes virtually all features from the arcade version. In contrast, the Saturn side is an original mode tailored for the home console, featuring a more accessible difficulty and smoother handling, making it easier for newcomers. This mode also adds features like customizable car colors, unique to the Saturn version. Screenshots showcase various aspects of the game, including intense racing action on different courses, and the course and car selection screens. Game details, such as the release date, price, and support for 2 players, and various controllers are also mentioned. Overall, the content suggests a faithful arcade port complemented by an original mode offering broader appeal, promising a game with significant depth and replayability. SEGA Touring Car Championship on Saturn boasts exciting additions over the arcade version. A global online event is planned for December 25th, featuring a special course and worldwide time attack competition. The Saturn version includes exclusive tracks like the dynamic Boom Town Circuit. Tuning options are significantly enhanced, offering detailed car setup adjustments surpassing even SEGA Rally. Grand Prix mode provides extended 20-lap races, while Expert mode challenges players with deteriorating tire grip. Time Attack mode features ghost cars for racing against personal bests. Furthermore, the game offers comprehensive analog controller configuration for precise control over steering, acceleration, and braking. These enhancements elevate the Saturn release beyond a simple arcade port, providing a rich and customizable racing experience. This page dives into the world of Sonic SR, showcasing the game prominently with a large title logo and renders of Metal Sonic. The main focus is the exciting reveal of Metal Sonic as a hidden character in the game. The article notes that Sonic SR isn't just a standard racer, but features various elements and ways to play. It highlights that Metal Sonic is a secret character that won't be found through normal play, building anticipation for how to unlock him, and teasing his hidden speed and special abilities. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, showing racers on a tropical track and a character selection screen revealing Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Metal Sonic, with 3 slots marked by crosses, confirming there are 3 more hidden characters to discover. There are also sections teasing game modes, including a Prepare to Challenge screen suggesting a one-on-one battle mode against Metal Sonic on the first course, Resort Island. The tone is one of excitement, particularly about Metal Sonic's appearance, and the mystery surrounding the other unlockable characters. This page continues the deep dive into Sonic SR, specifically focusing on the newly revealed secret character, Metal Sonic. The article provides a performance report, highlighting his strengths and unique traits. Metal Sonic is described as having high acceleration and potentially a top speed exceeding even Knuckles, who was previously noted as the fastest initial character. He doesn't perform a traditional roll dash, but uses built-in jets to glide and slide, making him advantageous on straightaways. However, his high speed makes handling tricky, though he can drift through corners. While drifting reduces speed quickly, his gliding nature allows him to navigate turns smoothly. His special abilities are also examined, noting he can jump similarly to Sonic and Tails. More notably, he appears to be able to run on water, although losing speed causes him to fall in. Screenshots illustrate these points, showing him racing, jumping, and attempting water traversal. The page also mentions that Sonic's R supports the multi-controller, comparing the control field to Sega Rally and Knights, emphasizing the subtle cornering it allows. Finally, it points to the game's box art featuring Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles as the thing to look for when the game releases, highlighting the quality of the character rendering. This page presents a special report on Riven, the sequel to Myst, the highly anticipated follow-up to the acclaimed adventure game. It picks up directly from the ending of the first Myst, pulling the player back into the intricate Donny worlds created by Iconotress. The game centers on the power of special linking books and ink, used by the Denny civilization to write new ages into existence. Tasked by Icarus, the player ventures into the treacherous age of Riven. The initial moments are fraught with danger, starting trapped in a cage designed to deter intruders. Here, a mysterious man, possibly Gain, the game's primary antagonist, forcefully takes a crucial prison book from the player. The article highlights the exploration of the Gate Room, a location filled with classic, Myst-like puzzles, including a rotating mechanism that alters the environment. It also points out the fascinating cultural elements visible in Riven, specifically referencing stunning stained glass art seen throughout the age. Insect-shaped objects in the Gate Room act as viewers for these stained glass panels, which are believed to depict significant figures and events, leading to the question of whether the central figure is indeed Gain, and what the imagery of a falling person might signify within the game's lore. Riven is an adventure game developed by Scion, released in Japan by Enix and Sunsoft in February 1998. It was a massive undertaking, requiring 5 side-ROMs, and was recommended for all ages, offering a rich, single-player experience built around exploration and puzzle-solving. Following the escape from a cage, the player in Riven, the sequel to Myst, enters the enigmatic age of Riven. A masked figure's appearance complicates the situation, stealing a critical book and leaving the player's intentions ambiguous. The player then faces the daunting beauty and inherent danger of Riven, driven forward by curiosity to encounter strange contraptions like a grand telescope. The age of Riven reveals unique designs hinting at the Donny inhabitants' presence. Examples include a circular school lamp and a ceremonial knife, indicating a blend of practicality and ritual. The iconic spherical buildings and the Magcal, a pod-like vehicle, are also shown. The experience is one of constant discovery, even amidst the world's mysteries. This page features a special interview between Rand Miller, president of Scion, the creators of Myst and Riven, and a representative from Enix, the Japanese publisher for Riven. The large vertical text proclaims the desire for players to journey through the unprecedented world of Riven. Rand Miller is introduced with his history as the president of Scion, known for the global success of Myst, and his role as game designer for Riven. Working alongside his brother Robin, the interview delves into why Enix is handling sales rather than the previous publisher, Sunsoft, and discusses the appeal of the world in Riven, surpassing that of Myst. Topics include the design philosophy behind the games, the origins of ideas, and elements like using letters as hints. Miller also touches upon the unique world design and whether the Myst universe will be explored further. This page continues the fascinating interview between Rand Miller of Scion, the creator of Myst and Riven, and Shinji Futami, a producer at Enix. A detailed render of a striking vehicle from the world of Riven is displayed at the top left. The conversation covers the development and localization of Riven for the Japanese market. Rand Miller shares his surprise at the level of dedication from the Japanese team, noting their detailed preparation and the ease with which Riven was ported to platforms like the SEGA Saturn, thanks in part to the assistance from Sunsoft staff. The interview also touches upon Scion's future direction, hinting at continued focus on exploring immersive worlds and potentially incorporating new technologies beyond traditional point-and-click mechanics in their next projects. Both Miller and Futami emphasized the significance and excitement surrounding the partnership between Scion and Enix. Shinji Futami is highlighted as an Enix producer, with credits on titles like Terranigma, and his role in overseeing the specific Japanese customizations for Riven is detailed. This page previews the upcoming romance simulation game, Refrain Love, developed by Riverhill Soft. The feature highlights events and characters encountered during the first 2 in-game months, June and July. The game involves tracking the development of a relationship between the player and one of 7 characters over a 6-month period. In June, the narrative introduces initial encounters, including meeting 3 girls at a mixer. Among them is the player's childhood friend, Yuki, and the intriguing Tomomi Sakakura. The text hints at fated encounters and the start of potential romance. By July, the focus shifts to actively seeking out characters in town and deepening relationships through repeated meetings and dates on weekends, increasing intimacy. The page also introduces specific characters with accompanying screenshots. Shoko Takamiya is depicted as a strong-willed, high-class lady, daughter of a company president, shown in a dramatic screenshot. Ran Yuki, the childhood friend, is featured with text describing her evolving role from just a friend to a potential romantic interest. Tomomi Sakakura is shown again in a screenshot from an event at a cocktail bar, emphasizing a more personal moment. The screenshots showcase various interaction scenes, giving a glimpse into the game's visual novel elements and event CGS. Overall, the preview aims to build anticipation by detailing the game's premise, key characters, and early story progression. This page continues the preview of the romance simulation game Refrain Love, moving into the months of August and September. August focuses on the height of summer and deepening connections during the vacation period. The narrative explores the question of whether budding relationships will evolve beyond friendship into romance. Screenshots show key events with Tomomi Sakakura, including an invitation to a local shrine festival, where the player feels charmed by her playful teasing. Ran Yuki is also featured in a scene related to her birthday in September, although presented in the August section, showing her visiting the player's room and the player feeling a sense of relief in her presence. September marks the transition to autumn and the reintroduction of real-world pressures like job hunting, while the relationships continue to progress. The preview highlights Shoko Takamiya's increasingly complex behavior. Screenshots depict a mysterious date invite from Syoko where she seems to be trying to escape something, and a phone call from her following the player's unsuccessful job interview, hinting at her connection to the interviewers and a desire to show the player something about the world. Another screenshot shows Tomomi seeking advice about being scouted as a model, which the player interprets as a sign of trust. The feature emphasizes the developing emotional landscape and the unfolding drama as the game moves into its later stages. This page continues the preview of the romance simulation game Refrain Love, now looking at the events of October. 3 months into the relationships, the connections are deepening, and the girls are opening up, accelerating the pace of romance. The preview highlights events with Tomomi Sakakura, noting her directness and the player's thoughts about her being like a dolphin swimming in the night sea. An event where she is tangled with delinquents is featured, emphasizing the player's desire to protect her despite a lack of physical strength. And Yuki's section explores her love for drawing and the city. The player feels like her childhood friend and notices subtle changes in her, questioning her true feelings. A flashback or event shows her with fireworks by the sea, her smile unchanged from childhood. Syoko Takamiya is presented with a more complex and vulnerable side. The player observes her tiredness and internal conflict. A significant event sees Kyosuke confessing to Shoko, leading to unexpected results. Syoko confides in the player afterward, revealing her inner struggles and loneliness, leaving the player wondering if they can be there for her. This page continues the preview of Refrain Love, focusing on the significant events that occur in November, leading up to the game's climax. November presents 2 crucial milestones in the relationships: a relaxing hot spring trip and a dramatic injury event involving Teshao. Both are highlighted as key moments that solidify character bonds and deepen affection, pushing the narrative towards the Christmas Eve finale. The hot spring trip is depicted as a chance for the characters to unwind together, featuring scenes of the group enjoying the baths and banquet. It's explicitly stated this provides opportunities for the player to get close to their chosen girl. In stark contrast, the Teshao injury event is a serious turn. Teshao is attacked by delinquents in front of Tomomi Sakakura and suffers a severe injury that leaves him in a coma. This event is emotionally impactful, affecting characters like Teshu's sister, Kasumi, and the player, raising questions about feelings and responsibility. As November concludes, the game forces a critical decision. The boys gather, prompted by Kyosuke, to make their final choice regarding the girl they will pursue for the Christmas Eve climax. This marks the point of no return before entering the final, dramatic month of the game. The page ends by looking forward to December, the final month where the story builds to its peak, culminating in the hopeful Christmas Eve spent with the player's chosen love interest. This page announces that the Refrain Love Club segment is nearing its conclusion, just as the game is finally going on sale. To celebrate, Riverhill Soft is offering a present campaign. The prizes include in-store posters featuring the smiling faces of Tomomomi, Ran, and Yoshikoko signed by Mr. Kobayashi, with 5 lucky winners receiving one. The main prize consists of animation cells used in the game's scenes, with a total of 17 winners. These include various cells like those featuring Tomomi. Specific character cells are also available, such as Ran cells, 6 winners, capturing her emotional expression from the last scene, Yoshiko cells, 5 winners, showing her adorable look after falling in love, and even a cell of the injured male character Tetsuya, 1 winner, noted for his surprising popularity among male fans. To apply, players must specify the character course they desire, adding an element of chance to which character's cell they might win. This contest ties into the game's impending release and the narrative climax discussed on the previous page. This page delves further into the world of Refrain Love, featuring an interview with developers Mr. Ikamoto and Mr. Ohori, who discuss character concepts and intriguing mysteries within the game's story. They touch on initial ideas for the heroine, potentially Tomomi, and her family situation, as well as unresolved plot points like the identity of a man seen with Maimi and the peculiar green eyes of Ayame, Nago's daughter. The interview also hints at deeper lore concerning the town of Sakurazaki, revealed later in the game, and the possibility of side stories for supporting characters, suggesting potential for future content. Prominently featured is the character Ran, described as the tomboyish childhood friend of the protagonist. The text highlights her popularity and hints at a mysterious side despite her appearance. Her fashion is noted as a mix of cute, street, and even army styles. The developer who drew her, Mr. Kobayashi, found her the most enjoyable character to illustrate. Finally, the page announces the last chance for fans to participate in a postcard submission contest, encouraging them to send in illustrations, poems, and memorable confession lines for a chance to be published and win prizes, linking back to the contest mentioned on the previous page. Storyboards for the game's opening are also briefly shown. This page unveils a new adventure title arriving on both PlayStation and SEGA Saturn. Ankh, Curse of the Scarab King, known in Japan as Tutankhamun no Nazo. This isn't just any game. It's notably the first game produced by renowned Egyptologist Sakuji Yoshimura, bringing an authentic touch to its ancient Egyptian setting. The game plunges players into a quest to find the true tomb of King Tutankhamun and guide his cursed, wandering soul to the underworld. Set to release in November, the game promises a mystery spanning 3,000 years, centered around a resurrected young pharaoh and a lingering curse. Screenshots highlight key locations and moments, showing the adventure starting in Cairo, leading to revelations at the Luxor Temple, encountering Egyptian gods, and finally reaching the dramatic climax within Tutankhamun's tomb. It looks like a fascinating dive into Egyptian lore, guided by a genuine expert. There's even a chance to win an 18-karat gold Ankh pendant by purchasing the game. The game industry heavily relies on intellectual property rights, including patents, utility models, design rights, and trademarks. Patents, like Sega's for CG games, protect inventions in technical areas such as game mechanics. Major companies like Sega, Nintendo, and Capcom regularly file hundreds of patent applications. Utility model rights protect practical product enhancements, such as the D-pad. Design rights safeguard a product's aesthetic appearance, exemplified by the Famicom Joyball controller. Finally, trademark rights protect brand names and logos, such as Sega and SEGA Saturn. This legal framework supports the industry's creative and technological advancements. This page dives into fascinating game patents, following up on the previous discussion about intellectual property. First up is a patent by Sega Enterprises covering camera viewpoint switching in 3D games. Filed in 1992 and registered in 1997, this patent is described as providing an electronic amusement device where the display's image viewpoint can be changed by the player. The article highlights Virtua Racing on the Model 1 board as the world's first arcade game to feature a dedicated camera switching button. The inventor is noted as Yu Suzuki, head of AM2R&D. Screenshots appear to be from Virtua Racing, showing different camera perspectives, alongside a flowchart illustrating the viewpoint selection routine. Below that is a patent from Atari Games concerning ghost cars in racing games. Filed in 1991, but not yet registered at the time of this publication, The patent aims to depict the best lap time recorded by the player and allow them to race against it to beat their record. The description explicitly states, "The ghost car depicts the best lap time around the track, and players can pass through it without collision." This technology first appeared in Atari's arcade game Hard Drivin' and its sequel. The article mentions ghost cars were familiar in games like Sega Rally Championship, and questions how the rights interaction worked between Sega and Atari. Screenshots show a racing game with a ghost car visible, likely Sega Rally. This article explores several key video game patents. It begins with Nintendo's 1984 patent for a Versus cabinet, a dual-screen arcade setup that predates modern fighting game cabinets, enabling head-to-head play. Next, it analyzes a 1982 utility model for the D-pad, a multi-directional input device that debuted on the Game & Watch Donkey Kong, allowing more flexible character movement. Finally, it discusses HAL Laboratories' 1986 design patent for the Joy-Ball joystick, known for its unique design and rapid-fire feature. The article concludes by examining the practical realities of patent usage in the industry, highlighting how widespread technology like the D-pad often avoids aggressive enforcement due to mutual patent holdings and a focus on avoiding conflicts. This page continues the discussion on video game patents and trademarks. It first covers the LR buttons introduced on the Super Famicom, noting Nintendo patented this technology, which allows reliable input no matter where the button is pressed, showcasing its adoption by other manufacturers like Sony on the PlayStation controller, making it a modern standard. Next, it details a patent related to the password system for saving game progress, filed by Namco. It references the revival spell from Dragon Quest and other similar systems, explaining how this method allowed players to continue games without needing backup hardware. The article points out that this system, especially in the context of RPGs, was groundbreaking at the time for enabling continuous play, potentially even across different machines, highlighting Namco's The Return of Ishtar as an example, using a password entry screen. Finally, the page delves into trademark issues concerning the name Saturn. It reveals that while Sega holds the trademark for Sega Saturn as a game console, the name Saturn itself for a home toy was held by Fujitsu General. This section explains how trademarks for the same name can coexist if the goods are in different categories, referencing other examples like the name Mac. It also lists various celestial body names, Sun, Mercury, Venus, etc., and their trademark holders, noting that many, including Sega Jupiter and Sega Neptune, were also trademarked by Sega. The article concludes by highlighting the complexity of trademarking common names, especially in the context of product branding. This article highlights intriguing video game patents, beginning with Taito's early patent for displaying high scores and potentially rewarding record holders, predating the modern video game era. Another Taito patent covers the high-score name entry system, possibly first implemented in Space Invaders Part 2. The exploration continues with a Casio patent related to falling block puzzle games, raising questions about its breadth and potential influence, including the creation of Tetris. Lastly, a patent from Square Enix, for the active time battle ATB system, pivotal in the Final Fantasy series, is discussed, noting its unique real-time combat with strategic elements. This page delves into the process and costs of obtaining a patent in Japan, framed through the lens of video game intellectual property. It outlines the steps from application through to registration, detailing fees such as the initial application fee, examination request fee, and annual registration fees, noting the varying total cost and timeline which can range from 2 to 9 years. The article emphasizes the first data file system in Japan, urging inventors to apply promptly. It describes the stages, including formal examination, substantive examination, and publication, after 18 months, explaining potential rejections and the possibility of corrections. The page also features a section on interesting patent stories, highlighting intellectual property disputes within the gaming industry. A prominent example discussed is the lawsuit between Data East and Capcom concerning their fighting games. Data East sued Capcom, alleging that Data East's fighters' history infringed on Capcom's Street Fighter II, claiming certain mechanics were copied. The article mentions the eventual settlement between the two companies. Screenshots of both Street Fighter II and fighters' history are shown alongside this discussion. This page explores intellectual property rights in Japan, expanding beyond patents to cover design rights, trademarks, and utility models. It outlines application and registration processes, including associated fees and timelines. Design rights registration takes about 2 years and costs roughly 24,500 yen, plus annual maintenance fees. Trademarks require approximately 4 years and cost around 87,000 yen. Utility models offer a faster, cheaper option, 4 to 5 months, 36,800 yen, though with potentially weaker protection. The article discusses examination stages and rejection outcomes. The registration process is deemed difficult and expensive for individuals, highlighting the value of intellectual property for corporations. An interesting patent story details Sega's loss in a U.S. patent dispute concerning a TV game inventor, illustrating differences between US and Japanese patent systems. This page delves into the world of patents from the perspective of an expert, patent attorney Matsukura Hidemi, discussing their growing importance in the game industry. The interview touches on how game companies are increasingly focusing on patent strategy, with major players like Sega making significant efforts. The attorney highlights the nuances of software patents and contrasts the Japanese system with others, noting patents are evolving from mere protective measures into crucial tools for business negotiation and competitive advantage. He stresses that patents, while valuable assets, should be handled carefully to promote industry growth rather than stifle it. The page also includes a section on Japan's high volume of patent applications, suggesting quantity doesn't always equal strength. A notable superscoop reveals details from patent filings for portable breeding electronic games, strongly hinting at the technology behind hit toys like Tamagotchi. It recounts a legal dispute where a defendant challenged Bandai's position by referencing an earlier patent filed by Casio, showcasing how fundamental concepts in gaming can be covered by patents and lead to complex legal battles, emphasizing the importance of prior art. This page continues the discussion on patents and their impact, featuring the government's perspective from Morita Hajime of the Patent Office. He outlines Japan's efforts to strengthen patent rights, improve the application process for efficiency, and make patent information more accessible, aiming to foster innovation and allow a single idea to spark many new ones. The page includes a look at current company strategies for filing patents. While many are defensive, there's a clear trend towards using patents to secure exclusive market positions and develop royalty-based businesses. This shift indicates patents are becoming more than just legal shields. They are strategic assets for growth. Crucially, this page delves deeper into the Tamagotchi patent issue hinted at previously. It questions the fundamental nature of Casio's patent regarding portable breeding games, noting that breeding simulation games existed on PCs long before. The potential conflict between Casio and Bandai over this technology is highlighted, especially considering Casio's patent includes a meeting mode. The situation surrounding Tamagotchi patents is described as a tense, unresolved state involving multiple parties, showing how patents on core game mechanics can lead to complex legal battles. Finally, the editor reflects on the interview process, reinforcing the idea that patents are powerful business tools that can influence the industry landscape. Companies like Taito and HAL Laboratory are acknowledged for their cooperation, emphasizing the collaborative aspect of navigating the patent world. A fan poll asked which Falcom game readers most wanted a sequel to, anticipating a potential Falcom Classics 2. YS2 topped the list, celebrated for its music and story. Sorcerian came in second, with fans hoping for a complete port of its PC version. Dinosaur, a less accessible favorite, also received votes. Dragon Slayer, The Legend of Heroes, the first game, was desired for a modern remake, and Brandish was requested for a Saturn port with difficulty options. The poll results highlighted the diverse appeal of Falcom's catalog, with a variety of titles receiving votes and ranking numbers. The final results will be announced soon, and readers were encouraged to participate in other contests. This guide details a speedrun strategy for YSIN2 on the Sega Saturn, focusing on efficient time management in the early game. It emphasizes core speedrunning techniques like the B-dash and efficient health recovery with potions. The guide's early game route prioritizes acquiring essential items and experience quickly. Players begin by obtaining the ruby, leveling up with Goban and Sarah, and purchasing necessary equipment. The strategy quickly progresses to the first boss, detailing the fastest path to the temple key and reaching level 4 for the fight. For the second boss, the guide stresses strategic leveling and item collection, including the Rotaleaf and Silver Shield, with a projected total time of approximately 25 minutes. Screenshots illustrate key locations and characters, providing visual support. This page features an interview with weathercaster Masamitsu Morita, titled Talking to That Person, which is the 6th installment in the series. Morita discusses his lifelong passion for games, stating he likes anything with game in the name. from traditional board games like shogi, karuta, and sugoroku, to video games. He mentions playing Nihon Falcom's YS series on early platforms like the PC-88 and Sharp X68000, and recalls spending time and money on classic arcade titles like Space Invaders and Pac-Man. He talks about how his gaming continued as his children grew up, starting with the Famicom NES generation, and how he still enjoys games today. He also humorously notes that the Japanese board game, Life Game, similar to the Game of Life, now includes a weather forecaster profession. The page also includes a large advertisement for Falcom Classics on SEGA Saturn, a compilation of RPGs, offering limited and standard editions, and a prize draw for a Goddess Vina figure from YS and telephone cards. This page continues the interview with weathercaster Masamitsu Morita. He discusses the time commitment required for RPGs, noting that many take dozens of hours to clear, which can be difficult if you don't have dedicated time. He specifically recalls the YS series as being relatively easy to finish compared to other RPGs, which left a positive impression on him. He admits he hasn't actually touched a SEGA Saturn yet, but intends to buy one. Morita emphasizes that games, especially RPGs, need a sense of accomplishment, like reaching the ending. He views games as a highly advanced form of art, surpassing movies by combining story, music, visuals, and allowing the player to enter that world. The bottom of the page features classic Falcom RPGs. Dragon Slayer, released in '84, is highlighted for its freedom, focusing on the objective of slaying the dragon, but leaving the method up to the player. Monster battles and strategic magic use were central to its fun. Xanadu, from '85, is noted for its groundbreaking 400,000 copies sold as a PC game, introducing concepts like taking damage for wrongful actions and item weight impacting gameplay, truly deserving of the Xanadu Paradise name. Finally, YS, released in '87, is praised for its memorable character, rich story, and balance that allows even beginners to reach the ending, with the core appeal being the tangible feeling of adventure. This page is a vibrant advertisement highlighting Capcom's fighting game releases on the SEGA Saturn, emphasizing the power of the 4 MB expansion RAM cartridge. The main feature is X-Men vs. Street Fighter, proudly announced as an arcade-perfect port, releasing on November 27, 1997, for 7,800 yen. This game requires the included 4 MB RAM cartridge to achieve its faithful conversion. The page also previews the upcoming lineup of games that will utilize this same 4 MB expansion RAM. These include Dungeons & Dragons Collection, featuring faithful arcade ports of Dungeons & Dragons, Tower of Doom and Shadows over Mystara, slated for spring 1998, release at 5,800 yen for a 2-disc set. It also teases Vampire Savior, Darkstalkers 3, and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, both part of the expanding 4 MB series. The page mentions a special experience event for X-Men vs. Street Fighter, taking place in Tokyo and Osaka in late November. Overall, it strongly promotes Capcom's high-fidelity arcade ports, made possible by the new RAM technology on the Saturn. This page features vibrant, dynamic artwork showcasing a large group of characters from both the Marvel X-Men universe and Capcom's Street Fighter series. Prominently displayed are fan favorites such as Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, Rogue, Magneto, and Sabretooth, alongside Street Fighter mainstays like Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Zangief, Dhalsim, and M. Bison. The composition is crowded, depicting the diverse cast ready for action, reflecting the crossover nature of the fighting games between these two franchises. Given the context of previous pages discussing 4 MB RAM SEGA Saturn releases, this artwork strongly suggests it is promotional material for Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, one of the highly anticipated arcade-perfect ports mentioned as utilizing the new RAM technology for a superior home console experience. The SEGA Saturn logo confirms its relevance to the platform, its classic Capcom fighting game art, full of energy and character. This page features an advertisement for the Super Robot Wars F Perfect Guide strategy book for the Sega Saturn game, Super Robot Wars F. It asks readers if they have seen the strongest Robot Wars experience, and promotes the guide as the pinnacle strategy guide for the series. The guide is highlighted as popular and currently on sale. The advertisement notes it is a 5-size book with 136 pages, priced at 950 yen. The guide promises in-depth content, including explanations of the game's systems, a story chart, map strategy tips, comprehensive data analysis, reference material, and details on hidden information. The accompanying image is the cover art for the guide, showcasing a collection of mechs from the various anime series featured in the game, such as Gundam, Evangelion, and others, depicted in the super deformed style common to the Super Robot Wars series. Published by SoftBank, this guide aims to help players conquer the challenging tactical RPG. This page features an advertisement for the official strategy guide for the SEGA Saturn simulation game, J.League Pro Soccer Club O Tsukuru 2, which translates to, Let's make a J.League Pro Soccer Club 2. This particular guide is titled, The Official Guide, Management Edition, and was released on November 25th. It's presented as the ultimate guide for players aiming to build the best club. The ad highlights that it's beginner-friendly, covering all aspects of team management, offering easy-to-understand explanations for player development using sample patterns, and including detailed player data compiled through the editorial team's research. It also boasts comprehensive data on managers and scouts, plus details on the edit mode, where legendary players from the past can be revived. The guide is an A5 size, with 160 pages, and retailed for 950 yen, published by SoftBank. The page also previews a follow-up guide, the Complete Data Edition, planned for release in late December. Visually, the page features the game's title logo alongside a large number 2, icons representing elements like a power gym, a clubhouse and currency, a football, and a portrait of a female character associated with the guide or game. This page features an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn exclusive RPG, Magic School Lunar. This title is presented as another RPG in the lunar world, focusing on an adventure story set within the magical academy of the lunar universe. The ad encourages players to join in creating memories and experiencing school life together. The page showcases key artwork of the main characters, alongside smaller illustrations depicting scenes from the game, such as characters in a classroom, cooking, and interacting. There are also a couple of small screenshots showing combat and exploration. The advertisement highlights a first press bonus of a trading card. It also promotes the simultaneous release of an official strategy guide, published by Fujimi Shobo/Dragon Magazine. The game was priced at 6,800 yen, excluding tax. This page clearly serves to introduce and promote this spin-off title to fans of the popular Lunar series, emphasizing its unique school life setting and RPG mechanics on the SEGA Saturn. This page is the Reader Submission Corner, aptly titled Letter Park, where readers aim to become the Submission King. The section features various letters and illustrations from readers. Under the weekly notice board, one reader laments the bonus season lacking funds due to purchase desires, and shares a painful anecdote about accidentally cutting their thigh with a cutter, finding themselves without first aid supplies at home. Another reader reflects on their initial white SEGA Saturn console, and how newcomers always comment on it, noting its change in color. In the Real Sound, Real section, a reader reacts to voice actor pairings, suggesting a legendary actor alliance might be needed for certain combinations. Other letters cover diverse topics, including a reader asking if they should buy a 5,000 yen game, weighing the decision against saving money, and seeking input from SEGA partners. Another details a humorous injury while playing football and other activities, mentioning a survival situation at home. The page is also adorned with reader-submitted illustrations. One depicts a character labeled Pinginji Sakura, seemingly a mixed-up design. Another is titled Evangelion, clearly a humorous take on an Evangelion character. There are also illustrations of a computer character and a landscape drawing. These submissions provide a fun, personal look into the lives and thoughts of SEGA Saturn fans. This page is the Comic Plaza, serving as a vibrant section for reader submissions, featuring both manga strips and letters. The page is divided into themed sections for letters, including Love, Do You Love Me? And Everyone is a Maiden, alongside humorous comic submissions from readers across Japan, such as those from Aomori, Saitama, Yamagata, and Kanagawa prefectures. Readers share personal anecdotes and gaming experiences, ranging from declarations of intense affection inspired by Tokimeki Memorial to competitive stories involving Street Fighter II and King of Fighters. Other submissions touch on classic SEGA Saturn titles like Princess Maker 2, Daytona USA, and Sakura Wars, reflecting the diverse gaming interests of the community. Some letters offer humorous takes on daily life and interactions, often intertwined with gaming references or slightly risque themes, as suggested by the section titles. The comic strips provide visual gags and short narratives, adding another layer of reader creativity to the page. Overall, this section highlights the passion and sense of humor within the Sega Saturn fanbase, creating an engaging space for community interaction. This page delves into the wild and humorous world of reader submissions, starting with the "I hate this kind of thing" corner. Readers share their pet peeves about arcade games, like machines with surprisingly decent real sound or confusing features. They also propose incredibly bizarre simulation game ideas they hate, such as a rugby sim where Akiko Wada is a player and you always lose terribly, culminating in weird events like crimes in shrine grounds. Interspersed are reader illustrations, including a frantic drawing possibly referencing fighting game character Taemon Honda, and a sketch related to the SK1 fighting event, reflecting current interests outside of just games. The rumor, really, section features some truly strange whispers from the community, like a food company sponsoring a VR ad that's expected to fail, or a rumored game series involving girls in a decaying house, alongside news of a game based on Kabadichi being decided. Finally, the Higashi Kanana's Boys Forbidden After School Club Heart offers a look into a reader's personal life, touching on borrowing games like the game Paradise, funny family anecdotes, and experiences with Purikura photo booths, even mentioning Eva Puri, Evangelion-themed Purikura. The page concludes by listing all the reader submission corners, highlighting the vibrant and participatory nature of the magazine's community sections. This page showcases reader-submitted illustrations centered around a mech theme. It's a gallery filled with diverse interpretations of mechanical subjects, from classic characters to detailed vehicle designs. Featured artwork includes a striking take on Metal Sonic, a powerful rendition of EVA 01, and fan art for the Sega Saturn title Gun Griffon. Readers also submitted unique mech designs, a vintage Fokker Doctor, one Gred Baron aircraft, and a detailed cockpit view from Daytona, USA. Commentary accompanying the art praises the detail, creativity, and the choice of subjects, reflecting the reader's passion for mechs and Sega titles. One submission even includes a philosophical question about which Sega console is the machine of life. The Daytona, USA cockpit illustration is highlighted as this week's #1, receiving praise for its impressive detail. The page also contains standard magazine information regarding submission guidelines for fan art, emphasizing the use of postcards or white paper with black ink, and noting that color submissions are not currently accepted. It also lists the points earned by contributors this week towards potential prizes like book vouchers or SEGA Saturn software. Submissions are directed to the magazine's editorial department address. This page is an advertisement for a mail-order store called Santa, featuring a catalog of Sega Saturn software and peripherals, as well as titles for Mega Drive and Game Gear. It provides contact information, shipping fees, and instructions on how to order and pay. This page is the latest installment of the Sega Press section, Volume 56, which acts as an official information hub for Sega Saturn and Sega Enterprises services. The main feature highlights the highly anticipated sequel to Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club, Ook, discussing its commercial which was airing during World Cup qualifiers, and even giving a behind-the-scenes look at the commercial's production. The article notes that the sequel arrives about 1.5 years after the original, and emphasizes how the showcased game screenshots aim to capture that addictive, can't-stop-playing feeling the series is known for. The screenshots display various aspects of managing your own football club, from player editing to stadium construction and match views. The page also details the different ways fans could get the latest Sega information directly. These included the Sega JoyJoy telephone service for weekly audio updates, the Sega Fax Club for printed information like arcade news and new products, and promotional materials like the Sega video magazine tapes and Flash Sega Saturn Crydroms, available in stores, featuring previews and demos of titles like Zero Divide, Azel, Sega Touring Car Championship, Sonic R, and X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Finally, it provides the URLs for Sega's internet homepage and the GameBusters site, keeping fans connected online. This Sega magazine features several columns and reports. Jun Senue discusses his music instrument, fair experiences, and current Sega projects in Jay's Guitar Shop. Ayano Abane's live tour, including sold-out shows and potential broadcast recordings, is also covered. This month's Queen showcases a baby's Pikachu obsession, fueled by parents' love for Sega characters. The Sega Press Daily Report details the publicity team's work during the busy year-end release period, highlighting the success of October titles like All Japan Pro Wrestling and Coldcept. Plus, Let's make a pro soccer club. 2. It also mentions Sonic SAR tournament anecdotes and Christmas nights into dreams. Discussions. Lastly, a postcard contest is announced, inviting fan submissions about the SEGA Saturn for a chance to win prizes. This page features the 11th episode of the SEGA Saturn Magazine novel series based on the game Tsukyu Gurentai, known internationally as Crimson Heights. Titled Sprays of the Fugitives, this installment is written by Yuichi Ishida, with the original concept from Raising Aiding, the game's developers. The main text introduces the Crimson Heights team as a private defense force hired by the Koshin Boshi Corporation for dangerous missions, including acting as a private military, handling disputes. The story centers on 3 pilots from the team, Takao Yahashi, Ryota Hase, and Rika Kunimura, weaving an SF drama around them and those around them. There's also a recap of previous events, noting the defeat of an enemy called Black Scorpion by Crimson Heights, and subsequent developments involving an organization issuing a crime statement, an investigation into a group called Hachiman, a terrorist group's actions leading to the capture and rescue of the company president, and further interactions and pursuits involving Hachiman and a character named Mikazuki. This page continues the novelization of the acclaimed arcade shooter Tsukyu Gurentai, known internationally as Crimson Heights. The story unfolds through dialogue and internal thoughts, focusing on the tense interactions between key characters like Kunimura and Yashida. The scene depicts a confrontation in the investigation department, where Kunimura expresses frustration and concern, urging caution regarding the investigation into Daedalus and Hachiman. Yashida pushes back, insisting on seeing the investigation through. The exchange escalates, revealing deeper emotional undercurrents and conflicting views on responsibility and safety within the JDF unit. Mikazuki also makes an appearance, seemingly interrupting the heated discussion. Later, the scene shifts to Yashida's return home, finding his apartment neglected, emphasizing the toll their work takes. Below the novel segment is a character introduction section for the series. It profiles several members and associated individuals. Yahashi Takao, the 24-year-old JDF leader who led an investigation and interacted with the company president. Kunimura Rika, a 22-year-old known for her fierce fang ability, part of the SOQ series team with strong, albeit sometimes argumentative, teamwork with Yashida. Has Ryota, a 19-year-old rookie JDF pilot and skilled flyer whose favorite machine is the Shiden, and who has a history with Kunimura and Hachiman. And Brent Yamagata, a 24-year-old half-American investigator from the Red Star Investigation Department, described as thin but strong. Returning to his neglected apartment, Yashida is confronted by the emptiness of his life post-divorce. Overwhelmed by his demanding job and loneliness, he observes his hamster, the interaction triggering a memory of a failed attempt to mask one's true scent. He realizes his work, the hamster, and his subordinates were all distractions from his sense of loss. He acknowledges his attempts to escape his reality were futile, and he's begun to accept the loss, finding more stability in difficult situations than in his quiet home. The page ends with Yashida contemplating his true desires, accompanied by illustrations depicting the woman and his cluttered apartment. This page continues the narrative titled Seikankan Gurentai, featuring Brent's investigation. He delves into computer data, a process compared to peeling an onion, trying to find information related to the previously mentioned Yumi Hachiman development code and the company's main computer. Despite his hacking skills, the crucial code was useless, as the records were completely erased. Searching employee records, he uncovers data suggesting a technician named Eiji Adashima, known as Tarushima, resigned the day of a past company incident, a record potentially altered. Brent's desperate search leads him to a large amount of encrypted data. He begins the arduous task of deciphering it, recognizing its link to Tarushima. The decryption reveals a document title, Idiot Savant System, which puzzles Brent, his thoughts halting before he collapses, hitting his face on the keyboard. Below the story is a message from developer Rationalizing, discussing their game, known internationally as Kingdom Grand Prix, or Tsukyu Gurentai in Japan. They address Saturn magazine readers about their experience with shooting games, acknowledging Kingdom Grand Prix's consistent popularity in reader polls, but noting its sales figures are significantly lower than titles like Sakura Wars. They touch upon the challenge of the genre's high difficulty, sometimes leading to it being perceived as maniacal, and hope their unique worldview in the game was well received. Finally, a brief personal note from Kenichi Yoku mentions reading manga. This page features the 6th installment of the Game Science Laboratory series, focusing on RPG encounters. The main content is a dialogue between a professor and his assistant, discussing how random encounters in RPGs are implemented, and, importantly, how their probability distribution impacts game balance. The discussion covers two primary methods for triggering encounters. Method A, which involves a random check each step, and Method B, where the number of steps until the next encounter is predetermined. The professor explains that Method A, while common, often leads to poor balance, particularly if the probability of an encounter is high in the initial steps, as shown in the accompanying graph. They explore how even Method A can be adjusted by varying the random check rate. Ultimately, the professor suggests that an ideal probability distribution resembles a mountain shape, peaking around the average number of steps, and concludes that Method B makes achieving this desired balance easier. Illustrations on the page depict the professor and assistant characters, along with some fantasy monsters, reflecting the RPG theme. A small note mentions the changing seasons and hopes for games that capture the feeling of the 4 seasons. There is also a call for reader submissions to the Game Science Laboratory section. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn title Umanari 1 Furlong Gikiju, a horse racing simulation game from Microvision. Based on the popular manga by Miho Yoshida, who also provided the character designs, the game puts you in the role of a trainer and owner tasked with raising thoroughbreds. You'll manage their training, physical condition, and decide which races to enter to guide them to victory. The game features realistic race commentary, includes a large cast of 80 real jockeys and over 1,050 real horses, and simulates major Brig 1 races both domestically and internationally. It delves into the horse's psychology and physical state, allowing communication through dialogue. Players can explore detailed training options, focus on breeding to produce powerful offspring, and even compete in a dedicated Umanari Cup mode. The page features the distinctive cartoon art from the manga, alongside screenshots depicting race scenes, management menus, and character interactions. The game was released on December 4th for 5,800 yen and comes recommended by horse racing figure Shugoro Izaki. This page delves into the mysterious world of the SEGA Saturn title, Baroque. The artwork on the page is highly abstract and unsettling, featuring distorted figures and industrial elements, perfectly capturing the game's unique atmosphere. Overlaying the visuals are fragments of English text like distorted delusions and Baroque, hinting at the game's central themes of reality, perception, and decay. The Japanese text is a narrative piece, credited to the game's director Kazunari Yonemitsu and writer Mariko Shimizu. It reads like a prologue, or a character's fragmented thoughts, describing encountering a strange disc, experiencing visions of a distorted world and a mysterious boy, and grappling with the nature of Baroque itself. A section titled Summary of Previous Events offers a brief recap, mentioning a quiet night, the question of the reader's whereabouts, and ominously referencing the motive for murder is I wanted a kankakyu, directly tying into the game's cryptic plot and key items. The text also mentions the first Baroque murder, underscoring the dark, psychological nature of the story. This page serves as an intriguing introduction to the game's bizarre narrative, leaving the reader with a sense of unease and curiosity, ending with, "To be continued." The page identifies the game as a Sting/especially production. This page continues the deep dive into the mysterious world of Baroque from Sting, titled Baroque Filled Up Pointing Triangle Prequel Volume 2. The main phrase highlighted is, "If it's not by fire, try searching with the Tarantella melody." The text, written from a first-person perspective, delves into a series of inexplicable suicides and murders involving young boys and girls, often with unknown motives. The narrative discusses the concept of Baroque not just as a place or thing, but as a distorted perception or phenomenon. The narrator recounts encounters with strange individuals, including a boy met at the Baroque shop, who seems deeply connected to these events. The text describes chilling details, such as victims having their wings plucked or being subjected to other bizarre acts. The page explores the idea that the Baroque is a form of madness or obsession that drives people, particularly the young, to self-destruction or violence. It touches on the difficulty of understanding the motives of those affected, describing their delusions as both complex and terrifyingly simple. The text reinforces the dark, psychological horror themes central to Baroque's world, leaving the reader to ponder the nature of this bizarre syndrome. This page showcases Ronde, an Atlas simulation RPG for the SEGA Saturn. The striking visual features a hand reaching towards a record disc, bearing the game's title, Rond, and the tagline, Reincarnating SRPG. Vertical text on the right reads, Release to the Soul, hinting at the game's theme. Ronde is presented as a title that builds upon the foundation of the Shin Megami Tensei series, incorporating familiar elements like demon negotiation and fusion, but within a tactical, simulation-style combat system. The game promises a branching multi-story and multi-ending structure, where player choices significantly impact the narrative's progression. Screenshots show both the strategic overhead map for combat and event scenes featuring character interactions. This 2-disc SEGA Saturn exclusive title focuses on a single-player experience, delving into themes of reincarnation central to the SMT universe. It was on sale with a suggested retail price of 6,800 yen excluding tax. Released in 1997. This appears to be a promotional page highlighting the game's unique mechanics and connection to a beloved RPG franchise. This page features the cyberpunk RPG, Soul Hackers, for the SEGA Saturn. The main artwork showcases the protagonists, including the female-led Hitomi and the male protagonists, against a backdrop of futuristic cityscapes and holographic elements. Screenshots display the first-person dungeon-crawling perspective, common to the Shin Megami Tensei series, as well as scenes from the game's interface and environments. The game is highlighted as a SEGA Saturn exclusive RPG for one player, now on sale. Key features mentioned include the return of familiar elements from the previous Devil Summoner game, such as the Gump device and the Demon Negotiation and Fusion system, referred to here as the Vice system. It also notes the introduction of new mechanics, like entering others' consciousness via Vision Quest. Additionally, the page promotes the release of the Devil Database Collection Volume 2, scheduled for release in late December 1997, and a New Year campaign where players could win a Soul Hackers Extra Dungeon Quadrom. This page effectively promotes Soul Hackers by showcasing its visuals, highlighting core gameplay mechanics, and offering timed merchandise and promotions for fans. This page features an interview with Isami Kitakami, the head of Konami's CS Software Business Division, discussing Konami's approach to consumer software, specifically their SEGA Saturn strategy. He talks about the challenge of developing for the Saturn and the time it took to establish their development system. Kitakami highlights the importance of both the Konami brand and cultivating strong individual title brands like Power Pro and Parodius. He references highly regarded PlayStation titles such as Suikoden, Vandal Hearts, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night as examples of the quality and brand building they aim for, noting the significant time investment required for original high-quality games. The page also includes a brief history of Konami's console game releases up to 1997, showcasing their long presence in the market. Additionally, it features a section introducing Konami Computer Entertainment (KCE) development studios located across Japan. This highlights Konami's decentralized development structure, with studios in various cities working on different projects, like KCE Nagoya, which handled the Saturn version of Vandal Hearts. The section is accompanied by photos of the KCE buildings. This page continues the interview with Konami's director Kitakami, who oversees the consumer software business. He discusses the changing landscape of gaming, noting that while classic action titles may seem less prominent, Konami is shifting focus to games that provide deeper experiences, like RPGs and simulations. Kitakami highlights the success of titles like Tokimeki Memorial, which he sees as establishing a new genre focused on fun felt in the heart, rather than just reflex-based action. He emphasizes that developing these kinds of games, such as Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, takes significant time and effort to properly express the story and vision. The large vertical text reinforces this theme, stating the desire to want to pursue the fun that is felt in the heart. The lower section of the page features a column titled Sekiguchi, Izawa's Toranamon Development 10 p.m., which appears to be a chat between staff from Konami's promotion department, discussing their work and interacting with reader mail. A small photo shows the two individuals featured in the column. This page is dedicated to promoting upcoming books related to the popular dating simulation game, Sentimental Graffiti. Featured are details for two publications. First up is Tomohisa Kai Sentimental Graffiti Image Artworks. This substantial book is a modified A4 size with 224 pages, priced at 2,800 yen plus tax, and scheduled for release in early December. It's described as an art collection featuring character designs by Tomohisa Kai, filled with 115 illustrations. It comes with a special original poster and a deluxe clear case, making it an excellent collector's item for fans. Below that is the Sentimental Graffiti Official Guide. This B5 size book has 128 pages, priced at 1,300 yen plus tax, and is set for release in late January 98. It's highlighted as the only official strategy guide available, offering comprehensive strategies for all 12 heroines, delving into detailed background stories and settings, and providing tips for navigating the game's nationwide travel elements. Both books are available for pre-order at bookstores across the country, as indicated by the prominent vertical text. The bottom of the page includes order forms for both publications, detailing their titles, formats, prices, and release dates once more, along with fields for customer information. For serious fans looking to dive deeper into the world and characters of sentimental graffiti, these seem like essential companions. This page explores diverse topics, including fighting games and real-life combat. The column Kinjite draws parallels between dominant fighting tactics and software development, using the Pride 1 fight between Takada and Gracie as an example. The author, a former SEGA AM2 staffer, suggests that certain development practices can create unfair advantages. Ikebukuro Sara's Virtua Crash covers the Atena Cup, a Virtua Fighter 3 tournament held in Machida. The event, featuring a 5-on-5 team battle format allowing character duplicates, showcased skilled players and teams, including Bunbun Maru and the All Japan Akira Ritsui Association. The article summarizes tournament results. Finally, this week's Yukun offers a brief, personal anecdote about a young boy and his enjoyment of singing. The next page features the debut of a new comic strip series titled Hana Turn Ningen by Yusaku Hanakuma. Described as challenging the irrationality of the world with irrationality, this first installment dives into a bizarre scenario labeled Real Game. The comic follows a character named Baba, seemingly forced to run or perform, while dealing with an irate boss who threatens violence, even resorting to electrocution and a bazooka. The strip then shifts to a conversation about buying All Japan Pro Wrestling software, only to be told that such a game doesn't actually exist yet. This contrasts sharply with panels showing a real TV broadcast and escalating violence where characters are urged to wake up and are depicted being stabbed. The author's profile notes his debut in Garo, his background as a martial arts enthusiast training in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and mentions his published book collections. The comic's surreal and violent tone, combined with the reference to a non-existent wrestling game, presents a dark, satirical take on real challenges and perhaps the limitations of virtual experiences compared to brutal reality, subtly connecting to the previous page's discussion of fighting and real-world combat applications. This page features a beautiful spread dedicated to the highly acclaimed SEGA Saturn title Sakura Wars. The main focus is a film book, or activity photo collection, showcasing memorable scenes from the game's animated sequences. Since its successful launch and winning the SESA award, fans have eagerly awaited a way to revisit these high-quality moments. The book compiles roughly 20 animated movies, covering key events from the Imperial Combat Review's exploits, including initial battles and dramatic plot points. It promises to let fans relive these beloved scenes anytime and features all characters from the game. Also highlighted are other related Sakura Wars merchandise. There's a photo CD collection packed with character and mecha designs and CG images, including unreleased content, compatible with multiple platforms. An original artwork and design material collection is also featured, a comprehensive guide filled with illustrations, design documents, staff interviews, and even includes bonus items like a poster and costume patterns. Finally, there's the official guide for the puzzle spin-off, Hanagumi Taisen columns, detailing game mechanics, character introductions, and strategies for enjoying the story mode. This page provides strategic tips and data for the game Culdicept on the SEGA Saturn, featured in SEGA Saturn Data Focus, Volume 18. Developed by Umiya Soft, the article is titled, Carefully Planning Strategy is the Key to Victory. Key strategic points covered include the importance of matching creature attributes to the terrain when placing them, and building a balanced deck, book, of 50 cards, with recommendations for the number of creature types, items, and spells. Another tip advises using spell and item cards liberally during battles, without hesitation to gain an advantage. There is also a data table showing how land value and tolls change based on leveling up and chain bonuses, and a section explaining the different types of bonuses received each lap, including a basic bonus that increases turn by turn. An interesting tip suggests an easy method for acquiring new cards by creating a second player character to trade with your main one. This guide to Culdicept strategy focuses on creature placement and card usage. Aligning a creature's attribute with terrain provides significant HP bonuses. Creature exchange allows for strategic placement and immediate deployment on matching terrains. Arranging creatures adjacently yields street bonuses, increasing their battle strength. The guide stresses smart card play. Spells defeat high HP enemies, bypassing land bonuses. Magic Bolt is a simple example. Support creatures' power-up forces, granting HP and Saint examples include Wood Fork for defense and Ice Wall for unbreakable bases. Steam Gear offers high stats at a low cost, though it reduces tolls. The page emphasizes using terrain effects, creature abilities, and well-timed spells for strategic advantage. This page delves into specific opponent strategies and map layouts within Culdicept. It provides detailed analysis for 3 distinct opponents, Koetsu, Vaden, and Miranda, encountered on particular maps. For Koetsu on the Profound Mountain Range map, characterized by a cross-shaped layout with equal distribution of earth, water, fire, and wind terrains, the guide highlights Koetsu's heavy reliance on fire and wind creatures like Phoenix and Hellhound. Their deck is described as purely combat-oriented. The recommended counter involves preparing battle support items against fire and wind, and utilizing creatures like Decoy or Gameba that negate physical, fire, or earth attacks. Moving to Vaden in the Desert of Death, the map features a central checkpoint and branching paths with slightly more fire and wind terrain. Vaden favors wind and null creatures such as Bandit, Succubus, and Knight, noted for their strength. Their deck is balanced with movement and combat support spells. The text notes Vaden's significant improvement over time, and their creatures often possessing special abilities like First Strike. Finally, the guide covers Miranda in the Village of Extreme Cold, a map heavily dominated by water terrain. Miranda specializes in water and null creatures, and is adept at casting curses on land and creatures. Specific mention is made of Dane and Glatt being particularly challenging. The strategy against them is to employ attack spells, as they are strong against conventional attacks. This guide section focuses on strategies for defeating 3 challenging Culdicept opponents. O'Reilly on the Land of Fertility uses wind and earth creatures on a fragmented, null-heavy map. Anti-earth/wind items and defensive creatures are recommended to counter his attacks. Horowitz in scorching hell battles on a map with isolated islands and warp points, utilizing fire creatures and attack spells. Battles are lengthy due to high target magic. The final challenge. Gurubel in the Forest of No Return demands strategic land acquisition within a complex maze. Gurubel favors earth creatures. Exploit his lack of interest in other land types. Effective charm usage is crucial on this map. Each opponent is pitted against Zines in each scenario, requiring adaptable strategies to overcome his diverse and strong creature selections. This page features a comprehensive strategy guide for the game Magic School Luna, covering content from Chapter 1 up to the first half of Chapter 6. The guide provides a detailed walkthrough chart for key progression points in the early chapters, specifically listing the steps for Chapter 1. It also promises to reveal when characters learn magic and where monsters appear. Character profiles for Ellie, Lena, and Sinania are included, describing their personalities and roles. Several screenshots showcase different scenes and characters from the game, such as Ellie and Lena interacting, a cave, a dramatic landscape, and other character dialogues. The guide concludes by explaining the identity of a character from the prologue and how the main protagonists enroll in the Magic Academy. This page continues the strategy guide for Magic School Luna, detailing the progression through Chapters 2, 3, and 4. Chapter 2, titled Witch Varua, outlines key events such as confronting Varua above the Academy Tower, assisting an injured Ellie, obtaining medicine, visiting Dottis's lab, gathering information, and facing a Lester demon. The accompanying text highlights the aerial encounter with Varua above the tower as the beginning of a difficult battle. Chapter 3, Blitz Operation, focuses on dungeon exploration and tests. The steps involve visiting Ayasan's dojo, returning to Dottis's lab for tests, exploring a basement area, and encountering enemies including a boss named Mask. The guide notes that Dottis conducts tests to evaluate skills, mentioning that repeatedly visiting the same spot can be a bit tedious. It also suggests attacking enemies like Hang with 3 party members is effective. Finally, Chapter 4, Sure Kill Combination Magic, centers around events at the Academy dorms and the introduction of a new party member, Blade. The guide lists finding new rooms, meeting Blade, facing him in a dungeon, discovering him injured multiple times, and ultimately having him join the party. A note emphasizes Blade's impressive sword skills but challenging personality, adding that combination magic will be learned in this chapter. Screenshots show scenes from the lab or library, an outdoor dungeon entrance, and the party facing a large boss. This guide details chapters 5 and 6 of the SEGA Saturn RPG, Magic School Luna. Chapter 5, Island of Ghosts, involves investigating a mysterious fog plaguing the Academy. Players gather information, eavesdrop, and explore Skull Island, including a ghost ship. They battle bosses like the Mastergeist and Draingator, discovering the fog's origin. Chapter 6, Mermaid's Jewel, transports players to Mermaid Island, Merye. The guide outlines interactions with various mermaids and exploring this aquatic environment. The guide emphasizes encountering different mermaid personalities and unfolding events in this area. The page also includes a timing for acquiring magic section, a table detailing when and how characters learn new magic. Screenshots illustrate the game's environments and character interactions. This page provides a comprehensive guide to the monsters encountered in Lunar Silver Star Story Complete, detailing their appearance, locations, and characteristics. The introduction emphasizes the importance of understanding monster abilities, especially special attacks, and exploiting their weaknesses to succeed in combat and fully enjoy the game's story. The core of the page is a detailed table. It lists monsters by the chapter they appear in, their specific locations within those chapters, like specific islands, dungeons, or events, and their resistances or weaknesses to various attack types and status effects. The guide explains that a circle indicates resistance, while an X signifies a weakness, allowing players to tailor their attack strategies. This table covers a wide range of monsters found across different areas, including those mentioned in the previous page's coverage of Chapters 5, Skull Island and the Ghost Ship, and Chapter 6, Mermaid Island. The guide helps players identify which elemental magic or status-inducing attacks will be most effective against specific foes. Screenshots on the page show dynamic battle scenes, illustrating the combat encounters players will face. The text highlights that even boss characters have weaknesses, encouraging players to utilize this information for strategic advantage. This guide is invaluable for players looking to overcome difficult battles by understanding their enemies. This page provides readers with a survey postcard to give feedback to the magazine. It explains how to properly fill out the response sections using Arabic numerals within the designated boxes, emphasizing clarity for machine tabulation. The survey asks for basic demographic information like gender and age, as well as the reader's school or occupation. It inquires about how many SEGA Saturn games the reader owns and which other computer or game magazines they read. Readers are also asked their opinion on the cover of this issue and how they typically visit arcades. The core of the survey for a gamer lies in questions, asking readers to choose articles they found interesting from a list provided, Table 1, hardware they own or plan to buy from a hardware list, Table 2, and software they want from an extensive software list, Table 3. Table 2 covers a range of hardware including various consoles like the Saturn, Mega Drive, Super Famicom, PlayStation, and PC-FX, along with numerous peripherals. Table 3 is a massive collection of SEGA Saturn software titles, showcasing a broad spectrum of games available or highly anticipated at the time, from action and RPGs to simulations and puzzle games. This survey is a great way for the magazine to gauge reader interest and popularity of specific games and hardware. This page features a prominent introduction to the game Yunteno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world. The page is dominated by the game's large title and an illustration of a blonde-haired female character. It highlights the game's unique selling point, stating it's equipped with the strongest multi-story system ADMs. The text suggests a theme of player agency, translating to, "The world you desire can be created." Release information is provided, indicating a release date of December 4th on a Thursday, and it will come on 3 chronodromes, with a suggested retail price of 7,800 yen before tax. The page confirms it's a SEGA Saturn title developed by Elf Corporation. It serves as a clear advertisement or feature spread introducing this highly anticipated adventure game, emphasizing its complex narrative structure and immersive world. This page features a guide to upcoming and recently released SEGA Saturn software, highlighted by illustrations of Bomberman characters. The top section, labeled New Release Title, introduces games that have recently come out. This includes games such as Dragon Master Silk Outside Story, Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series, Volume 2 Colorful Encore, Battle Garega, Ultraman Zuken 2, and Mario Musashi's Super Shogi Dojo. The lower section, titled Coming Soon Soft, previews software expected soon, with a focus on titles anticipated for the upcoming winter season. This list features games like Tatsu no Shima Monogatari, Maria, Kimitachi ga Umareta Wake, Saturn Bomberman Fight, Magical School Lunar, DJ Wars, Warcraft 2, Dark Saga, Cotton 2, Grand Red, Gaia Breeder, The Mystery of Tutankhamun, Ankh, Edo Renaissance, Dazig McKnight, Art Collection, Dazig Lawson, Art Collection, and Message Navi. The page encourages readers to carefully consider these upcoming releases. This page delves into Sugo Bensha, Dragon Master Silk Side Story, a new board game adventure featuring characters from the popular Dragon Master Silk RPG series, which was mentioned on the previous page. This title, from Datum Polystar, is slated for a February 1998 release. The game takes the familiar cast and plunges them into a board game format, combining adventure and dating simulation elements. Gameplay involves moving around a board, triggering events, acquiring cards, and engaging in battles. Players collect treasure chests and offer them at shrines to face the Demon King, who has been revived. The goal is to defeat him, but it won't be easy. A significant part of the game involves interacting with partners. Landing on date squares initiates conversation scenes, deepening bonds through dialogue choices. The page highlights several key characters who are active on the board. These include the Fiery Spirit Dragon aka voiced by Yuko Sanpei, the Water Spirit Dragon Ayo voiced by Yuko Nagashima, and the Lightning Spirit Dragon Ki, voiced by Kumiko Nishihara. Also introduced are two new characters, the unfortunate high school girl Fukami Shirofuji, mistakenly summoned when trying to call Silk, voiced by Yoshiko Nakagawa, and the new character Ruri, one of three Spirit Dragon sisters, voiced by Kaori Arakaki. As for Silk herself, her whereabouts are teased as a secret. The game promises plenty of action and interaction on the board. This page features two exciting upcoming SEGA Saturn titles. First up is Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 2, Irodori no Love Song, the second entry in the drama series based on the legendary dating sim. Presented as an adventure game, this volume is specifically aimed at fans of Ayako Katagiri and explores themes of music and art. The story centers around the protagonist forming a band for the culture festival and meeting various girls, including Suzune, who features prominently in the screenshots and dialogue examples shown. Expect a blend of dramatic storytelling, character interactions through dialogue choices, and new minigames, promising more content than the previous volume. Below that is Battle Garega, a highly anticipated port of the intense arcade Shoot 'em Up by Raising. The article declares it a perfect Ishoku port and highlights its challenging bullet patterns and strategic depth. Players will choose from 4 distinct aircraft, each with unique characteristics, and utilize the versatile option system. By collecting power-ups, you can equip up to 4 options that can be arranged in 5 different formations, crucial for navigating the brutal battlefields depicted in the screenshots. This is a demanding game that rewards skill and strategic use of your arsenal. This page highlights 2 distinct SEGA Saturn titles. First, we have Ultraman Zukan 2, a comprehensive database software dedicated to classic Ultraman series. This second volume builds upon the first, focusing on popular shows like The Return of Ultraman, Ultraman Ace, and Ultraman Taro. It's packed with detailed information for fans, covering everything from the Ultraman heroes and their origins to transformation scenes and incredible monster data, boasting over 240 creatures. It even dives into the human defense teams like Matt and Tak. There's a special movie card feature that unlocks famous scenes for viewing, promising full-screen spectacle. This is clearly aimed at dedicated Ultraman enthusiasts. Below that is Mario Juku no Cho Shogi Juku, a shogi training software supervised by Takeshi Mario, a professional Rokudan player. Designed to help players improve their game, it offers modes like the Shogi Guide for learning techniques and a Shogi Power Test to assess skill level. The software features detailed explanations and diagrams, illustrating moves and positions to aid understanding. It's presented as a tool for anyone looking to get better at shogi, backed by expert guidance. This page focuses on the upcoming SEGA Saturn title, Nanatsukaze no Shima Monogatari, also known as Tale of the Seven Winds Island. This marks Enix's first foray into Saturn development, a project that underwent a significant 2-year development cycle. The highlight here is the involvement of acclaimed film director Keita Amemiya, who conceptualized and nurtured the world of this game for over a decade. The article delves into the unique charm of Amemiya's creation, discussing what makes this adventure RPG so compelling. It features insights directly from the director himself, who expresses his satisfaction with the final product, seeing it as a culmination of his long-term vision. The game is listed as 100% complete, set for release on November 27th, at a price of 6,800 yen. It's designed purely for a single-player experience. A small note from the publicity department suggests it's the perfect game to immerse yourself in during the long autumn nights, promising a warm and enriching experience. Director Keita Amemiya discusses his SEGA Saturn game, Tale of the Seven Winds Island. Amemiya personally wrote the script and created the art to ensure his vision was realized, a massive undertaking involving a 1,000-page script and numerous sketches. The game features intuitive, observation-based puzzles. The wind element is a natural, magical force, challenging to represent visually. Character designs, like Professor Garpu, and 2D art translation into pixel movements were carefully considered. The game's sound design uses natural environmental sounds to enhance the atmosphere. Hand-drawn backgrounds, especially animated leaves and grass, emphasize the title's theme. The page also previews Amemiya's film, Moon of Tao, a Chambara fantasy action drama starring Toshiyuki Nagashima, focusing on a treasure sword mystery and a mysterious girl named Tao. This page continues the feature on the SEGA Saturn game, Tale of the Seven Winds Island, focusing on the gameplay and the creator's insights. The title reads, Feeling the Seven Winds. The game takes place on the island of Seven Winds, a picture book world where the story has disappeared. Players control Professor Garpu, a descendant of wind users, who can feel special winds and perform miracles, which is key to solving puzzles and progressing through the narrative. The gameplay is described as similar to side-scrolling action but with no combat, emphasizing puzzle solving and weaving a new story. Key gameplay elements include conversing with residents to get hints and information, basic movement like jumping and dashing, and using items acquired or equipped. The game features a unique bookmaking system where the player's actions, such as steps taken or time spent thinking, are recorded as part of the game's story text. Director Keita Amemiya expresses great satisfaction with this system and the overall final product, feeling that his intended message is conveyed to players who see the end. He notes the project was challenging but ultimately successful in achieving his vision, and expresses interest in future work with the characters or exploring cinematic techniques in games. Screenshots show various environments and character interactions within the game. This page continues the feature on the SEGA Saturn game, Tale of the Seven Winds Island, focusing on exploration and side activities available on the mysterious island. Beyond the main story, the game offers plenty of enjoyable elements. Players can catch insects hidden throughout the island using a bug net, a fun activity separate from the core scenario that requires persistence to collect all the different types. Fishing is also available in locations like the coast, rivers, caves, and even puddles once you get a fishing rod. A nice touch is the ability to display collected items like insects, fish, rare plants, and stones as specimens in your home cabinet. The page also includes a profile of the game's director and character designer, Keita Amemiya. A versatile creator, born in 1959, Amemiya is internationally recognized not only for his film work, such as Mirai Ninja and Zeiram, but also for his character design and illustration, lending a unique artistic and cinematic vision to Tale of the Seven Winds Island. This page continues our look at the fascinating SEGA Saturn title, Tale of the Seven Winds Island. Here, we're introduced to the 3 key companions who will aid Garp on his adventure, each possessing a unique skill vital for navigating the island and progressing through the game. First up is Kisuke, the white creature with the big ears. His specialty is cutting grass with his impressive scissors, which isn't just for clearing paths. Sometimes, the cut grass can yield useful items. Next is Clion, the avian-like friend, whose flying ability is indispensable for crossing difficult terrain like valleys and reaching high places to snag otherwise inaccessible items. Finally, there's Rokuzu, the yellow fellow, who can break obstacles like piled-up rocks using his powerful voice. Though the page notes this can sometimes be disruptive to others. Bringing one of these companions along is crucial, as you can signal them using horns to activate their abilities. The page also details a unique feature, the picture bookmaking system. As you play, Every action you take is automatically recorded and transformed into text entries in a digital picture book. This system tracks your journey, detailing events and discoveries based on your specific path and choices. It allows players to effectively create their own narrative record of their adventure on the island, and these personalized stories can be reviewed at any time. It's a neat way the game captures the player's individual experience. This story digest covers the first chapters of Windy X Wyndham. The prologue introduces Garp, who emerges from a chrysalis, gains a magical house, and battles a black wind. Chapter 1 focuses on Garp befriending Kisuke, the grass-cutting Hezmine Izumi, and includes gameplay around catching creatures and naming Garp. Kisuke's abilities aid in finding items. Chapter 2 introduces Garp's rival, Kanzu, who repeatedly challenges him. This chapter also features Clion, a propeller rabbit, who Garp helps. The Wind Beast Chronicle is crucial. The in-game guide contains vital information about the island's creatures and secrets, aiding exploration and progression by offering insight into characters and items. This page features the psychological interactive drama, Dukoku Soshite, also known by its descriptive phrase, multiple personality, secret of the girl. The game tells the story of a young surgeon, Takano Jun, who takes on the difficult case of Maria Tsutsui, a girl whose personality has fractured due to a traumatic past event. Driven by his own motivations, Takano aims to cure her, and the player steps into his role to navigate the complex narrative. As described as a shocking interactive drama, the page highlights the core premise. Can Takano use his knowledge to restore Maria's fractured psyche? Key characters surrounding Maria and Takano are introduced, including fellow doctors like the ambitious Kuwahara and the supportive hospital director Kanda, Takano's psychiatrist friend Honda, and a veteran detective named Nikaido who is investigating Maria's parents' murder from 11 years prior, hinting at the dark secrets involved. The game is set for release on December 11th by Axela. A particular scenario is showcased where scattered red rose petals trigger a terrifying transformation in Maria, suggesting the objects around her hold significant clues to her condition and the mystery. The developer, quote, encourages players to simulate life and see the unexpected results. It promises a gripping and thrilling story from start to finish. 1997, Axela Break. Dukoku Soshite employs a unique structure combining three systems for its drama. The narrative unfolds through a text adventure mode, focusing on dialogue and atmosphere to build tension. Players then transition to an interactive movie system, exploring environments in 3D to solve puzzles and uncover clues. Critical moments are presented through high-quality event movies, designed to intensify the mood. A central element is the protagonist's PC, running a Rainbow's 98 OS. This computer provides access to character information, acquired items, and even emails. It's also used to track Maria's multiple personalities. The PC system functions as a hub for managing information and includes a minigame for a break from the psychological thriller. The game's various modes and the SciPax functionality aim to create a compelling and immersive experience. This page dives into the explosive world of Saturn Bomberman Fight, showcasing the chaotic 3D bomb battles featuring a cast of charming characters. The focus here is on revealing essential secret techniques and unveiling a brand new hidden character, giving players an edge in combat. Developed by Hudson Soft, Saturn Bomberman Fight hit the shelves on December 11, 1997, priced at 5,800 yen. It's an action game supporting 1 to 4 players and is recommended for all ages. The game boasts a surprisingly diverse soundtrack, incorporating rock, orchestral, western, and techno styles, with plans for a music CD release. The main reveal is the hidden character, known as Deraru in Japan, or internationally as Dark Force Bomber. To unlock this formidable fighter, players must defeat rivals in story mode and reach either stage 7 or 8. Described as the strongest bomber fighter, Dark Force Bomber possesses significantly higher stats in areas like stamina, arm strength, and leg strength compared to other characters, and can be made playable under specific conditions. The page includes screenshots showing the 3D battle arenas, a reaction shot from White Bomber, and examples of special moves like bomb throw and stun. Vertical text mentions Dark Force Bomber was created by a mysterious underground organization and hints at his familiar appearance, while character text from Dark Force Bomber himself boasts about his beauty becoming a universal legend. The next page provides a comprehensive look at the 9 distinct stages available in Saturn Bomberman Fight. Wedge Battle Mode. This mode supports up to 4 players, allowing flexible matchups between humans and the computer. Players can freely select any of the 9 stages for their battles, each offering unique geographical features like slopes, stairs, bridges, and walls. The arenas also come in 3 different sizes: 10 by 10, 12 by 12, and 14 by 14 grids, adding further variety to the gameplay. The stages range from familiar, classic grid layouts to more elaborate environments. You'll see everything from icy northern lands with breakable water blocks and mysterious music, to lush nature stages with complex structures. There's a European Trump-style palace, emphasizing central control, a floating castle requiring strategic use of walls for bomb throws, and a narrow ancient castle ruin where careful placement of large bombs is crucial. Tropical islands feature significant height differences for tactical play, while a vibrant flower garden stage is divided into 4 sections, perfect for group battles. Finally, a rugged wilderness stage, reminiscent of a western, also utilizes elevation changes, with cacti serving as unique soft blocks that are harder to destroy when elevated. Each stage's soft blocks, the obstacles that can be destroyed by bombs, vary in appearance, adding to the distinct feel of each environment. This diverse collection of stages ensures plenty of strategic options and replayability for intense Bomberman battles. Saturn Bomberman Fight. Muggly's battle mode features special win animations unlocked by achieving consecutive victories. The trigger requirements vary for each character. Shiro Bomb and Kuro Bomb activate animations on multiple win streaks, while characters like Mommy, Luisha, and Beggy Jr. need only 3 wins. Golem Bomber has the most triggers. These animations enhance the game's personality. Mommy's sequence includes 7 anime-style drawings and a song. Kotetsu's animation is a black and white anime depicting his victories, with Honey appearing at the end. Golem Bomber's story is presented as a paper play, showing his character development. Luisha, like Mommy, has 7 cell drawings and a song. These diverse animations reward players achieving win streaks. This page focuses on helpful special techniques within Saturn Bomberman Fight. Particularly useful for gaining an advantage in battle. The article highlights 4 specific techniques from the many available in the game, emphasizing their importance for competitive play in battle mode. Mastering these moves is key to outplaying your friends. The 4 techniques explained are the Big Bomb Catch, where you can catch a falling big bomb; the Big Bomb Mid-Air Throw, allowing you to immediately throw a big bomb after catching it in the air; the Reflect Throw, which involves throwing a bomb at an invisible wall to bounce it back, hitting opponents behind you; and the Feint Throw, a technique where you jump and drop a bomb directly behind yourself instead of throwing it forward, useful for surprising opponents approaching from the rear. Each technique is illustrated with screenshots showing the action. Additionally, there's a mention of a campaign promoting the game. By purchasing an SBOM match pack, likely a controller bundle, players can receive a demo version of Saturn Bomberman Fight. The pack was released on November 27th and cost 6,800 yen. The demo version apparently includes the Battlefield of Scorching Heat stage. This page features Lunar, Silver Star story for the SEGA Saturn, highlighting the game's imminent release with a completion 100% status. The article delves into the progression of Chapter 5, noting that the dungeons are becoming more challenging as the protagonist's magic power grows. The party is venturing out into serious dungeons and undertaking a journey that leads them towards Skull Island in search of treasure. Screenshots depict various locations visited, including a connecting tower linking areas, a campsite, and the discovery of a shipwreck. The article also touches upon key characters like Linkana, whose persuasive arguments are discussed, and Teacher Emma, who is mentioned in the context of the locations explored. The feature provides a glimpse into the mid-game challenges and plot points players will encounter. This page delves further into the adventure of Lunar, Silver Star story for the SEGA Saturn. It details the exploration of a mysterious shipwreck, which turns out to be a ghost ship. The party finds a diary and encounters various spirits, using Drive Vatan's ghost vacuuming device, the Galian Blaster, to clear them out before facing the boss, Master Brain. The journey then leads to Great Sword Mountain, another dungeon where the protagonists confront and successfully seal the source of the land's evil, though dealing with Iason adds complexity. The feature also previews Chapter 6, introducing an encounter on Marib Island where Ellie and her friends meet mermaids, including Sina. What begins as a friendly interaction quickly turns hostile when the party displays a particular jewel, revealing that the mermaid's protective treasure has been stolen causing suspicion and conflict. The page is illustrated with screenshots depicting these events, including dungeon exploration, battles, and character interactions, alongside character artwork of Ellie and a mermaid. It highlights significant plot developments and upcoming challenges. This page focuses on the upcoming music simulation game DJ Wars from Spike. It highlights the game's near-completion status at 90% and confirms its genre as a music simulation for all ages, with a price of 5,800 yen. There was a slight delay, and the producer apologizes by including a special necklace as a bonus for early purchases. The page includes a lecture on the correct way to play DJ Wars, starting with a review of what a DJ is and how the game captures the essence of selecting records and manipulating turntables to create a performance. The game emphasizes the feel of selecting tracks and transitioning between them to excite the audience. It then presents recommended song sets tailored to specific characters, showcasing a Satamaga-style approach. Character spotlights for Toru and Yuhi detail the types of sets they might play, with Toru's focusing on a digital rock sound evolving from raga and house, while Yuhi's is described as a catchy Eurobeat style. The page displays lists of song titles and their BPMs for these recommended sets, suggesting players can use these as a base to create their own original mixes. Screenshots show the in-game DJ interface, dancing characters, and gameplay elements like BPM counters. The feature encourages players to experiment with mixing and creating diverse sets to keep the experience fresh. DJ Wars Story Mode challenges players to climb the ranks by conquering clubs and reaching Trinity City's apexes, the game's ultimate venue. Success at apexes determines your DJ career's trajectory. The mode features diverse clubs like 33 RPM, Sirocco, and Zero, each with unique styles and atmospheres. 33 RPM is known for techno, Sirocco for drum and bass, and Zero for its sound quality. The page introduces Steel, strategic, cool mixes, Anita, happy, diverse selections, and Alex, orthodox hip-hop, with recommended styles and song examples to inspire gameplay. Each character has a suggested genre focus and BPMs for their initial sets. This page introduces Warcraft 2, the Dark Saga, declaring that the Battle of Slaughter and Revenge is about to begin. It features striking artwork of an orc and a human character, highlighting the game's central conflict between the two factions. The game is described as a real-time simulation from Blizzard Entertainment, known for their PC hits. This Saturn port allows players to experience the war from either the human or orc perspective, offering two distinct story paths, while the controls are simple, requiring just clicking units and targets. Success demands precise strategic decisions. The game emphasizes efficient action, as victory conditions often go beyond merely destroying the enemy. Understanding each unit's role and giving timely, accurate commands is crucial. The core gameplay loop revolves around three fundamental tasks: exploration to reveal the map and find resources, combat, which occurs automatically when units clash, requiring smart positioning and unit types, and production, which involves building structures and units using gathered resources. Mastering the balance between these three elements is key to clearing stages. The accompanying story summary sets the stage, detailing the conflict initiated by the corrupted Medivh and the Orc Guladan, and the subsequent quest for revenge by the human hero Lothar. Despite a potentially steep learning curve for beginners, the page suggests that mastering these mechanics is essential to enjoying the rich world and strategy of Warcraft 2. Understanding the relationship between units and buildings is crucial in Warcraft 2. The game revolves around a production chain, beginning with the town hall for peasant/peon units, essential for resource gathering and building. Farms increase your unit population, while barracks create basic combat units like footmen, humans, and grunts, orcs. Resource management is vital. The lumber mill processes wood, and the oil platform extracts oil, a late-game necessity. The shipyard produces naval units and oil tankers to collect oil from offshore platforms. Efficient gameplay involves scouting, building farms, producing workers, mining gold, harvesting wood, building a lumber mill, and, eventually, a shipyard to secure oil resources. This flow, supported by efficient command, is the foundation for success. This page showcases Cotton 2, Magical Night Dreams on the SEGA Saturn, highlighting the brand new Saturn Original mode exclusive to this home console release. It promises a significantly different experience from the arcade version, designed to keep even seasoned players engaged. Key differences detailed include altered enemy appearance patterns, completely changed background graphics for every stage giving them a fresh atmosphere, and modified attack methods for bosses, with some bosses even appearing visually different. The game also features an extensive option menu, allowing players to adjust difficulty, maximum HP, number of lives, and button configurations to suit their playstyle. A ranking mode is included to track scores and stage-specific performance. Basic game information lists the developer as Success, release date as December 4th, price at 5,800 yen, genre as shooting, and confirms 2-player simultaneous play. A special first-run bonus is mentioned: a calendar. Screenshots visually compare the arcade and Saturn versions, illustrating the notable changes in backgrounds and enemy layouts. The content suggests the Saturn version is more than just a port, offering a substantial amount of new content. This guide details the initial stages and bosses of Cotton 2. Stage 1, Hill of Cotton Grass, serves as an introduction, culminating in the Snow Combo mid-boss and the Wan Wan Dragon boss, which utilizes throwable dragon projectiles. Stage 2, Sky Ancient Castle, presents a challenging environment filled with obstacles, featuring the Pumpkin mid-boss and Viola MK2, a plant monster with varied attacks. Stage 3, Coral Sea, dives into an underwater world with more aggressive enemies, leading to the Chokin Lobster mid-boss and the Hell Octopus boss, requiring players to destroy its cannons. The guide also covers the Tea Time bonus stage, where tea collection awards points and HP recovery, including a secret bonus. Finally, it mentions the manga demo scenes, offering comedic interludes. This page provides a preview of Grand Red, an upcoming simulation game for the SEGA Saturn from Banpresto. The long development period is nearing its end, promising a full-fledged space opera experience. The game is set in a vast galaxy where the Imperial Army and Federation Army clash in large-scale SLG battles. The preview highlights the detailed setting, including unit performance and pilot experience, with 27 voice actors contributing to the characters. A key feature is the ability to recruit new comrades throughout the game by meeting specific conditions, such as persuading enemy units or having characters join after certain scenarios. Many characters, especially those of the commander class, can be convinced to switch sides. The page also touches on unit performance and types, explaining that finding and utilizing units with different abilities is crucial. Some units are exclusive to certain characters, and new ones are developed as the story progresses, though character level can restrict who can pilot them. Specific units like the same, designed for attacking enemy strongholds, are mentioned, as are battleships/craft, which excel in close combat. Players will have access to detailed data for their units at any time. The preview features screenshots showcasing space battles and character interactions during dialogue scenes, emphasizing the game's visual presentation and narrative elements. Grand Red is scheduled for release on November 27th, priced at 5,800 yen, recommended for all ages, and is a single-player experience. Grand Red introduces its characters across 3 factions: the Federation Army, the Imperial Army, and others. The Federation Army, led by the protagonist Guda Yuzuru, is a band of reliable comrades forged in officer training, featuring characters like Caddy Safford and Max Hoover. The Imperial Army, composed of powerful cosmic heroes, includes the 4 great generals, Kurt Kaiser, Druez, and Delida, though their motivations are complex. Others are characters aligned with the protagonists, such as Harby and Ainge Ida, who could be vulnerable if exploited. The game promises a diverse cast with unique personalities and artwork within a space opera setting. This page dives into the fascinating world of Gaia Breeder, a unique simulation game for the Saturn. The core concept involves creating a miniature garden of life in the 23rd century, where you collect drana from existing animals using small creatures called mupi to create clones. The goal is to populate your garden and maintain an ecosystem, managing a survive point total, which dictates how many creatures you can have, and is also necessary to register new species. What's particularly exciting is the possibility of creating entirely new and bizarre species within the garden itself, under specific conditions involving certain animal combinations, mupic actions, and even calamities. Rare hybrid creatures can be born. The page showcases several examples of these unique new species, like the plant-like grand hopper, the aquatic shabanshok, the rabbit-squirrel hybrid Eusagiris, the massive Yamakujira, the crystalline jewel turtle, the fish-like Piglania, the dinosaur-like Dina tiger, and the cold-adapted Hypschion, each with their own distinct look and characteristics. The game encourages experimentation to discover these hidden creatures and expand your garden's biodiversity, offering a glimpse into the deep simulation and creature design possibilities. This page delves further into the simulation aspects of Gaia breeders, specifically focusing on collecting drina from different time periods to populate your garden. It highlights two distinct eras available for MUPI missions: B circa 15,000, representing a time dominated by impressive Ice Age megafauna, and AD 1999, which features animals more familiar to the modern world. The B circa 15,000 section showcases creatures like the mighty mammoth, the colossal megatherium, the fearsome saber-toothed tiger, and extinct birds such as the dodo and moa, alongside dire wolves, glyptodons, and quaggas. Each animal listing provides a brief description, including its size, basic characteristics, and its survive point cost. In contrast, the AD 1999 period presents a roster of contemporary African savanna animals, such as lions, zebras, elephants, cheetahs, giraffes, rhinoceroses, ostriches, wildebeest, Thompson's gazelles, wild boars, and hyenas. And each entry gives key details and the SP value required to register them. The page includes a screenshot of the game map during the B circa 15,000 era. There's also a helpful tip section explaining how to effectively use the pause screen, allowing players to locate animals or issue commands to the MUPI. Finally, advice is offered for new players, suggesting starting in the AD 1999 era, collecting Dyna, and releasing herbivores first to establish the ecosystem. This detailed look at Drana sources is crucial for planning your breeding strategy in the game. This page features Tutankhamun's Curse, an adventure game centered around the mysteries of ancient Egypt. The page is dominated by a striking image of a stylized Egyptian figure, likely a character or representation of the era, set against the game's title. The game is presented as a historical adventure, developed with input from Professor Sakuji Yoshimura, a renowned Egyptologist. It promises a deep dive into the secrets and legends surrounding Tutankhamun, blending historical fact with exciting archaeological discovery. The narrative is based on the professor's extensive research, aiming for a highly accurate and immersive experience. Screenshots display various aspects of the game, including scenes from bustling Cairo streets, significant museum artifacts like the Golden Mask of Tutankhamun, character portraits, and a game map. The system is described as a classic point-and-click adventure, where interacting with the environment by moving the cursor and clicking reveals clues and advances the story. A notable feature is the inclusion of a comprehensive database, allowing players to access detailed information about Egyptian ruins, historical figures, and events within the game, enhancing its educational value. The game is listed as a 2-disc Cray-Drom title. This page delves deeper into the adventure of Tutankhamun's Curse, focusing on the west bank of Luxor, a crucial location in the game. It highlights the famous Valley of the Kings, home to Tutankhamun's tomb, which is central to the protagonist's quest to find the pharaoh's sealed soul. The narrative includes a meeting with Professor Yoshimura, the renowned Egyptologist whose expertise is integral to the game. However, the meeting is overshadowed by a setback. Important documents containing information about the ruins have gone missing, which sounds like a key plot point early in the game. As the protagonist explores the ruins, learning about ancient Egypt via a communicator provided by the professor, strange phenomena begin to occur, mysterious voices and illusions. These experiences seem to challenge the protagonist's understanding of events and even their own identity, adding a layer of supernatural mystery to the historical exploration. The page also touches upon the historical context explored in the game, specifically posing the question of why Tutankhamun died at the young age of 18. It suggests the game adopts the theory that he was assassinated due to religious conflicts between the Aketan faith, which his family promoted, and the traditional Amun worship favored by the priests. This historical background promises a deep and potentially dramatic storyline woven into the archaeological investigation. The map of the Valley of the Kings shows key tombs the player will likely visit. This page is dedicated to the simulation game Odo Renaissance for the SEGA Saturn. Set in Edo period Japan, the game puts you in the shoes of the historical figure Tanuma Okitsugu, tasked with reviving the shogunate's dwindling finances and restoring the city's prosperity. The page highlights that while the premise is historical, the game is designed to be enjoyable, even for those less familiar with the period, promising laughs and a fun experience. It mentions the shogunate is in decline due to extravagance, and the player's goal is to accumulate 6 million ryo to set things right. Key figures and establishments are introduced as central to managing the city's rebirth, reflecting different aspects of Edo life: food, culture, inventions, featuring the famous inventor Hiraga Genai, timber, and entertainment. These characters and locations likely represent different areas of the economy and society you'll interact with to achieve your goal. The artwork features charming, caricatured characters and a vibrant depiction of the city, suggesting a light and humorous take on the simulation genre. This page delves deeper into the gameplay mechanics and challenges you'll face in Edo Renaissance. Beyond the initial goal of rebuilding the shogunate's finances, you must contend with significant threats like earthquakes, thunder, and devastating fires, which require costly recovery efforts. Volcanic eruptions also pose a major problem, highlighting forces beyond human control that can wipe out your progress. The game isn't just about overcoming disasters. It also incorporates key aspects of Edo life. The Sankin Kotai system, where daimyo travel to Edo bringing wealth and goods, presents opportunities for financial gain. Festivals, like the Summer River Opening Fireworks and the Autumn Kanda Festival, are depicted as important events for public morale, requiring the shogunate's support. You'll also navigate the complexities of the shogunate itself, specifically dealing with the seemingly foolish and demanding 10th shogun. His selfish requests and extravagances add another layer of difficulty. Furthermore, interactions with wealthy merchants are crucial, but come with the risk of corruption, including the possibility of dealing with bribes. This page showcases the dynamic environment and diverse challenges that make managing Edo a compelling simulation experience. This page introduces two digital jigsaw puzzle games for the SEGA Saturn: Daijig McKnight Art Collection and Daijig Lassen Art Collection. These titles turn the works of celebrated artists Thomas McKnight and Christian Rees Lassen into interactive puzzles. Daijig McKnight features McKnight's vibrant, paradise-like modern landscapes, while Daijig Lassen showcases Lassen's renowned marine art, filled with dynamic depictions of nature. Each game includes 20 different artworks. The puzzles offer varying piece counts, including 72 and 108 pieces, with Daijig Lassen also featuring unique circular puzzles with 36 pieces, offering a different puzzling experience. The games provide a relaxed atmosphere, allowing players to take their time. A notable feature is the background music, which evolves as the puzzle nears completion. Finished puzzles can be admired in a gallery mode. These two digital jigsaw puzzles were released simultaneously on December 8, 1997, priced at 5,800 yen each, and are recommended for all ages for single-player enjoyment. This page introduces a unique piece of software for the SEGA Saturn, titled Message Navi, described as the industry's first user participation communication software. Releasing on November 27 for 2,800 yen, this software attempts to blend multimedia communication with a magazine-like format, allowing users to share personal information, recommended spots, and trending topics. The reviewer was initially skeptical about communicating via Saturn, but found it worked surprisingly well, emphasizing the importance of good morals. Message Navi features several engaging sections. One allows users to share their personal information and contact details, including PHS or pager numbers for direct contact, with a search con function to find others based on various criteria. There's a cosplay market to showcase user cosplay photos, and a section featuring fashion checks of cute girls found in the city, mapping their locations. Users can also report on their favorite amusement facilities and spots, navigated by cute girls. Other corners include a place to submit funny or impressive photos, a countdown of trending items, and a section introducing models focusing on their hometowns and favorite places. The page also announces that a second volume is already planned for release in February, with a deadline for user submissions in December, encouraging users to participate and share their own information. This page features the final installment of Riko Yanagita's Internet Trek column, where game journalist Riko Yanagita takes readers on a journey through the internet. This time, the focus is on exploring the official Honda website. The author found plenty of fascinating content on the Honda site, going beyond just product information. Highlights include a virtual factory tour, the process of building a new Civic, motorsports activities, and even a movie showcasing their advanced, two-legged walking robot. The site also offers information on places like the Twin Ring Motegi circuit, and allows users to buy Honda goods via a direct marketing link. The reviewer was particularly surprised by the depth and unique nature of the content found on the site. The column also briefly touches upon Cub fan pages, and, interestingly, points out a link to information about Dippin' Dots ice cream found on the official SEGA website, mentioning a topping contest. Overall, the column highlights the fun of exploring the web by following links and discovering unexpected content, showcasing the interconnectedness of different online spaces. This page serves as the cover for the SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide section of the magazine. It features striking artwork of Hitomi Tono, a key character from the Atlas RPG masterpiece Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, which is also highlighted as one of the games covered. The guide promises strategies and tips for recently released SEGA Saturn titles to aid players in their gameplay. This installment includes guides for J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru 2, the critically acclaimed Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, the adventure game Rond, and the 3D fighting title Zero Divide, The Final Conflict. It's a valuable resource for anyone looking to conquer these Saturn classics. This page delves into the player training system for J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru 2, a detailed soccer club management simulation. The focus is on mastering training to develop players effectively, stating that training is paramount for growth. The guide explains the importance of understanding player status and characteristics to build efficient training menus. It breaks down training into several categories: basic training, individual training, special training, and system/other. Basic training aims to improve physical ability and fundamental skills like passing, dribbling, shooting, defense, free kicks, running, and physical training. Individual training focuses on developing skills specific to different positions, such as striker, dribbler, chance maker, defensive midfielder, center back, side back, attacking defender, and goalkeeper. Special training targets specific abilities needed for each position, while system/other training helps players understand different formations and tactics, like 442, 433, 451, 352, 343, and 532. The guide also emphasizes adapting training menus based on player positions, highlighting the key roles and necessary skills for forwards, FW, who need shooting ability, midfielders, MF, who require balance between attack and defense, defenders, DF, focusing on defensive skills and strength, and goalkeepers, GK, who primarily need physical training for saves. Screenshots illustrate the training menu, player stats, different formations, and coach feedback. It's a comprehensive look at optimizing player development in this deep simulation title. This guide for J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru 2 focuses on tactical development. The central theme is Learn Tactics, emphasizing focused practice over superficial knowledge. 5 tactical types are presented: attack/defense balance, attack emphasis, defense emphasis, zone press, and counter. Player understanding of these tactics is crucial for effectiveness and is improved through focused practice. The guide then covers defensive (DF) types, stressing the importance of not losing. 3 DF types are detailed: line defense, basic and stable; libero, requires high understanding; and sweeper, relies on coordination for offside traps. Screenshots showcase formations and player understanding levels. The guide recommends selecting tactics and DF types based on the club's strengths and player abilities. This page in the guide for J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru 2 delves into the crucial role of the team's system or formation. Following the previous discussion on tactics and DF types, it emphasizes that for systems to be effective, players must understand them, as measured by the team's overall strength graph. Managers should involve players and observe this graph when making changes. The guide advises adapting your system during matches based on the opponent's setup, recommending scouting their tactics and DF types to exploit weaknesses. It then presents common formations like 442, 433, 451, 352, 343, and the new 532, offering specific editor-recommended combinations of tactics and DF types for each, such as using a balanced 442 with defense emphasis and line defense, or a more attacking 433 with zone press and a sweeper. Screenshots display the formation selection interface and the team's overall strength visualization. This page of the guide for J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru 2 delves into the crucial aspect of player development through studying abroad. It highlights that sending players overseas is a vital method for improving their skills, but emphasizes the need to choose the destination strategically rather than just focusing on cost. The guide warns that the effectiveness of studying abroad can vary significantly depending on the country, sometimes being a great success and other times less impactful. It breaks down different regions and countries, outlining the types of abilities players are likely to develop there. Europe is generally associated with improvements in areas like defense, goalkeeping, or specific attacking roles depending on the country. South America often focuses on enhancing attacking prowess, counterattacking, or overall player ability. Africa is noted for boosting physical capabilities. The key takeaway is that managers must carefully consider a player's potential and the specific characteristics of each potential study destination to make the best choice for their growth, as simply spending money doesn't guarantee improvement. This page provides a strategy guide for Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, focusing on the progression from the Astronomical Museum through to the second Vision Quest. It first details the Astronomical Museum, describing it as a 3-floor dungeon, starting with the lobby. The guide notes the dark, similar-looking corridors can make navigation tricky, recommending the use of the auto-mapping feature to avoid getting lost, and mentions finding treasure chests within the small rooms. It also lists the demons encountered here, indicating that stronger demons appear on lower floors, and suggesting players level up to around 15 to handle them effectively. A screenshot shows a young character expressing fear after encountering a demon. Next, the guide moves to the Sea Arc building in Amami Bay. This location is described as a potential training ground for the Summoner organization. Screenshots show the interior lobby equipped with a terminal and recovery facilities, making it an ideal spot for leveling up. It cautions that auto-mapping might not function within the dungeon areas here. Finally, the page highlights a significant plot point involving Nemissa gaining new abilities. She develops the power to physically enter cyberspace, leading to the initiation of a new Vision Quest. This section is illustrated with screenshots showing Nemissa on a monitor, the protagonist and Nemissa preparing to enter cyberspace, a mysterious rabbit appearing, and the character known as Redman returning to challenge the protagonist to undertake this quest. Maps of the Astronomical Museum floors are included to aid navigation. This guide covers the second Vision Quest in Devil Summoners, Soul Hackers, set in Amami Airport. It provides detailed maps of the airport's floors, 1F, 2F, B, 1F, 3F, and outlines the plot. Demons appear in the project manager's office, linked to Yuta of the Dark Summoner organization. Players must navigate the airport, overcome obstacles like a blocked elevator, and eventually battle Yuta. The guide also includes an encounter with a mysterious woman. The guide further explores advanced demon fusion, focusing on special fusion. It explains elemental fusion, which combines specific demons to create higher-level demons of the same race, listing examples. Mitama fusion is presented as a way to create Mitama, special demons affecting fused demon stats. An example of Nigi Mitama is shown. Screenshots illustrate the fusion processes. The guide concludes with a call for fan letters to the Paradigm X Satamaga forum. This page covers the simulation RPG Ronde, focusing on its unique demon creation system and providing stage guides. The core feature highlighted is the Saturday Remix Station, allowing players to create new demon companions by combining demon genes collected in capsules found throughout the game. This system yields rare and powerful demons not otherwise encountered. A table illustrates various gene combinations and the resulting demons with their stats and abilities. The guide emphasizes that creating high-level demons early is advantageous. It also features strategic walkthroughs for Stage 9, the Net System Company, detailing enemy layouts and tackling the boss agent, and Stage 11, the General Hospital, discussing the multi-level map, narrow passages, and challenging enemy groups like Gremlins, Otomuras, Psychos, and Brockens, offering specific tactical advice for each encounter. Screenshots show the demon fusion process and the stage battle maps. This page of the Ronde Guide focuses on the game's unique mutation system, referred to as fusion accident. This mechanic can occur during demon remixing, potentially resulting in unexpected demons or changes in their parameters. The likelihood of mutation is influenced by several factors: the specific remix station used, Friday or 3 remix, the current phase of the moon, full moon increases the chance significantly, and the type of pledge made with the demon during recruitment. Making no pledge carries the highest mutation risk. Mutated demons often possess a greater variety of magic and arcana initially, but learn fewer skills as they level. They can also have high resistances and abilities like absorbing damage. The page highlights several powerful mutated demons and their notable skills. The guide then moves on to Stage 12, the Battle of Yorigawa. This stage presents a unique challenge where the primary objective is not combat but swift movement. The clear condition requires moving the main party unit to the shrine at the north of the map within 8 turns. Players are advised to prioritize advancing directly towards the goal and largely bypass enemy encounters, as the allied units alone are sufficient to handle any necessary combat. Guide notes that only one specific enemy type needs attention if blocking the path. This page of the Ronde Guide delves into advanced demon management techniques. First, it covers the Absorb system, which allows a specific demon to gain arcana from another, strengthening your preferred units. However, there's a limit of 16 arcana per demon, and the source demon is consumed in the process. A table provides examples of arcana and their effects, like healing or stat boosts, and which demons initially possess them. Next, the guide explains how to clone demons. This is a crucial method for obtaining multiple copies of valuable or rare demons without relying solely on random encounters or remixing. It involves installing a demon's data and then cloning it, though the process costs money and requires the original demon not to be currently in your active stock. The page then transitions to a guide for Stage 13, titled Virtual Space Hyena. The objective is to reach a specific location, encountering the character Tabayo along the way. The guide lists the fixed units available for this stage, including Tabayo. It highlights the strategic layout of the map and provides advice for tackling enemy formations, emphasizing the importance of dealing with key healing or high defense units quickly and utilizing recovery units effectively. There's also a specific note about hidden treasures scattered across the stage and the benefit of bringing a dedicated unit to collect them. This page of the Ronde Guide focuses on advanced demon handling. First, it introduces spirits and their unique role in the remix system. Using spirits in remixing can drastically affect a demon's loyalty, or even transform them into different forms. The guide provides tables showing how combining spirits with various demon races impacts loyalty, increasing, decreasing, or transforming, and also lists specific powerful demons created by remixing multiple spirits or by combining mutated/new demons with others. Obtaining spirits is possible through remixing or by trading gems at the rag shop. The page then shifts to a guide for a special stage titled Saturday's Exercise. This stage appears to be a training scenario created via the remix station, where the character Asuka is challenged. The guide provides a map and strategic advice, suggesting players split their units into 2 groups to tackle different enemy positions simultaneously. It highlights tactics for dealing with specific enemy units like dwarves, Hippolytas, and basilisks, and notes the presence of hidden treasure capsules on the map. A final hint suggests this training stage might have further implications later on. This page dives into Zero Divide, the final conflict, focusing on 2 key combatants, Zulu and Cygnus. It serves as the second part of the command guide, introducing the moves and abilities of these challenging characters. The page highlights how to unlock Zulu as a playable character, explaining that defeating Zulu on at least normal difficulty is the key requirement. It also notes that defeating Zulu on easy difficulty won't unlock the character, stating you'll be told, "You must come here! You haven't been defeated yet!" which is a fun little detail the developers included. Detailed tables are provided for both Zulu and Cygnus, breaking down their extensive movesets. These include special moves, command inputs, the type of attack, high, mid, low, throw, and properties like causing a knockdown or being cancelable. While the basic techniques are mentioned as being similar to the base character Zero, the guide points out crucial differences in timing and motion that give Zulu and Cygnus unique feels in combat. Cygnus is highlighted for having interesting clock combos. The sheer number of techniques for these 2 boss characters is impressive and crucial for players looking to master them. This page continues the command guide for Zero Divide, the final conflict, shifting focus to 4 more of the game's unique fighters, Draco, Cancer, Pixel, and Narrated. The page provides detailed breakdowns of their special moves and combinations, essential for mastering their distinct fighting styles. Draco is highlighted for having fewer techniques overall, but packing powerful individual blows. Cancer is noted for possessing numerous hidden techniques that can surprise opponents. Pixel is described as having a large number of punch-based combos, emphasizing speed and agility. Finally, Narrated excels at attacks from behind, suggesting a focus on positioning and tricky setups. Each character's signature moves are listed with their corresponding command inputs and properties, offering players the information needed to delve deep into their respective playstyles. This page delves further into Zero Divide, the final conflict, revealing how to unlock the challenging time attack mode. You can access this mode only after clearing the story mode at least once. According to developer Masakazu Fukuda, this was intentionally designed so players would see the impressive demo scene featuring Zulu. The page also draws attention to the password displayed on the lower right of the time attack ranking screen after setting a record. Saving this password is recommended, as good things are said to happen if you do. Additionally, the page features a look at the official Zoom Inc. website, highlighting content like complex combos from Zero Divide 2, character visuals, developer blogs, and even cat manga. The main focus shifts to a developer interview with Akira Sato and Masakazu Fukuda from Zoom. They discuss the development of the Saturn version, noting the technical challenges compared to the PlayStation version, particularly regarding motion processing. They touch upon the metallic feel of the characters and changes in design for the Saturn release, such as Draco's distinct look shown in a screenshot. Fukuda also comments on the Kripu's AI in the Saturn version, noting its strong movement and offensive capabilities. The developers emphasize their unique approach and promise more interesting projects in the future. This page opens with a humorous comic strip featuring feline characters reacting to the visual quality, specifically the glossy and shiny textures, of Zero Divide, the final conflict. A character resembling Iota from the game appears, adding to the comedic scene. The developer interview continues with Tetsuhiro Tagawa from Zoom, who discusses the current state of the game market, noting that while there are many titles, choosing can be difficult. He emphasizes the importance of original ideas and unique concepts in game development, suggesting that developers shouldn't be limited to just one genre, like fighting games. Tagawa, who handled the main programming for the Saturn version after working on the PlayStation releases of Zero Divide 1 and 2, hints that future projects are in the works but may take time. Reinforcing the technical discussions from the previous page, there is a prominent focus on motion processing, suggesting improvements have been made, which is visually supported by a gameplay screenshot of Zero Divide, the final conflict. The page also briefly promotes the game's release. This page dives into the world of Arcana Strikes, a game developed by Red Company, featuring a special discussion with the development team. The focus is heavily on the game's card and map design. The team reveals that creating the 300 different card types took a massive 2 years, with one person primarily handling the artwork. Character designer Shimada discusses the challenges of composing the illustrations within the confined space of the card frames. Map designer Nagahashi explains how elemental themes, like fire and water, inspired diverse environments, such as deserts and Greek shrines. The page also showcases a selection of the game's monster cards, highlighting them as key components of Arcana Strikes. Examples shown include creatures like Slime/Agua, Mermaid/Agua, Bardman/Arrow, Mandrake/Frey, and Fairy/Neutral, each presented with their unique artwork and brief descriptive text. A photo of the development team, including Shimada and Nagahashi, is featured, giving a face to the creative force behind the game's visuals. Overall, the page provides a detailed look into the artistic and design process behind Arcana Strikes, emphasizing the effort put into its extensive card collection and thematic world. This page delves further into the development of Arcana Strikes, featuring insights from key members of the team. Planner and player Akitoki Fujimoto discusses how the game's concept originated from playing with handmade cards, iteratively developing the rules and world through trial and error, which he found quite enjoyable. He highlights the difficulty in designing the gear, lightning, themed maps. Art director Kazuyoshi Seki admits he had little knowledge of card games before this project, but enjoyed the process of developing the visuals, showcased alongside a screenshot of a field map from the game. Map designer Mariko Nagahashi, responsible for field and dungeon design, feels the element of luck is a crucial part of the game. Character designer Naoko Shimada reveals an unexpected background, stating she hasn't played many card games or RPGs, preferring fighting games, despite her role in designing cards and RPG elements. The checkpoint section focuses on the game's default monster names, noting that while players can rename cards, some of the preset names are quite unique and fun, like Betozu for the slime. The page also showcases more monster cards, including various dragon types: Puchi Dragon, Heavy Dragon, Red Dragon, Shifuzu, 4 unlike, and Media Clock, reminding players that there are still many cards in the game. This page introduces Capcom's latest arcade fighting game, Rival Schools. United by Fate. Known for mastering the fighting genre, Capcom transitions from their traditional 2D style to utilize popular 3D polygons for this new title. while promising to retain the familiar, reliable control feel. The game is set against the backdrop of a dramatic incident where high school students are being kidnapped. Students from various schools rise up to confront a formidable enemy, leading to a story that emphasizes human drama as much as the fighting action. Capcom highlights the game's passionate battles, featuring mechanics like the Guts Gauge and special team UP moves such as the Perfect Burning Attack and Love and Friendship Attack. The game is designed to be enjoyable for both versus play and single-player modes, emphasizing the story elements. Several characters are introduced from Taiyo High School, including the hot-headed Batsu Ichimonji, the logical Kyosuke Kagami, and the energetic Hinata Wakaba. From Gorin High School, we see Natsu Ayuhara from the volleyball club, Roberto Miura, who has Brazilian heritage, and the justice-driven Shoma Sawamura. Capcom's publicity team expresses confidence in the game and encourages players to experience its intensity. Screenshots show the 3D fighting in action and a scene from the game's story mode. The game was under development at the time this feature was published. This page continues the deep dive into Capcom's 3D fighter, Rival Schools, United by Fate. It first details the game's control scheme, explaining it utilizes 4 buttons for weak and strong punches and kicks, deviating slightly from Capcom's usual setups. Beyond standard movement and special moves, it highlights unique actions like aerial maneuvers, dashes, recovery attacks when knocked down, and evasive rolls. The article then breaks down the core mechanics centered around the Guts Gauge, a power meter visible at the bottom of the screen. This gauge fuels the game's most potent attacks, accumulating as players attack and guard. It starts with 3 stocks and can hold up to 9, acting as a resource for powerful techniques. 2 key uses for this gauge are explained. The Guts Counter, a counterattack performed directly from a guard that doesn't consume the gauge, requiring precise timing, and the Perfect Burning Attack, a character's ultimate move consuming 1 gauge stock for a flashy high-damage strike. The most unique mechanic presented is the Love and Friendship Attack, a devastating tag-team supermove that requires 2 stocks of the Guts Gauge. This move is performed with the player's chosen partner and varies greatly depending on the characters involved, emphasizing the bond between teammates. Finally, the page introduces more characters from different schools: Roy, Tiffany, and Bowman from Pacific High School, Akira and Edge from Ghetto High School, and Hideo and Kyoko from Justice High School, providing brief descriptions of their personalities and roles. This page from Capcom's Corner, celebrating Mega Man's 10th anniversary, dives straight into the results of a time attack contest for Street Fighter Alpha 2. The challenge was to defeat Shin Akuma as quickly as possible. The page showcases the top finishers and their impressive times, noting that most successful participants relied heavily on devastating instant kills, often using Shin Akuma themselves. The difficulty of achieving times under 3 minutes is highlighted, with only 3 people managing it. The first-place winner is congratulated, and will receive a copy of the Japanese release of X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Below the contest results is the Big Push Room, featuring fan-submitted illustrations. The editors comment on the lack of submissions depicting male characters, or those drawn from a sideways perspective, and encourage more variety. Several pieces of artwork are shown, including characters that appear to be from games like Mega Man Legends, Street Fighter, and potentially Resident Evil or other Capcom titles, with comments on the artist's skill and character choices. Finally, there's a reminder about the approaching deadline for submissions for a Chun-Li illustration contest, along with mentions of other submission categories. The page also announces the prize for submitters in the next volume will be a copy of Resident Evil. This page covers the massive Mega Man exhibition held on November 9th at Tokyo Dome Prism Hall, celebrating Mega Man's 10th anniversary. The sheer number of attendees was a surprising success. Mega Man producer Toshiyuki Inafune commented on the goal of making the event fun for kids, although he noted some frustration with popular licensed merchandise selling out quickly. The exhibition featured various attractions, including character shows, stages hosting musical guests like Yuki Nakama and Reika Morishita, performing theme songs from Mega Man games like Mega Man X4 and Mega Man Dash. There was a bustling Mega Man market selling goods, a radio-controlled car circuit for racing, and even a coordinated Mega Man 1,000-person calisthenics session. Fans could test their knowledge in the Mega Man Quiz King battle, get custom photos or stamps at the Purikura and My Stamp Corner, and even participate in a bungee run attraction. The SoftBank booth was also popular, selling event-exclusive magazine issues. Overall, the event was a huge success, with everyone seemingly having a great time celebrating a decade of Mega Man. This page dives into Mega Man Legends, known as Rockman Dash in Japan. The main section discusses the game, noting its popularity on PlayStation and highlighting how it departs significantly from previous Mega Man titles, incorporating strong RPG elements alongside action. The reviewer emphasizes that earning money, improving stats, buying weapons, and even participating in minigames are crucial parts of the experience, making it different from the traditional series. There's a strong push asking readers to try the game without prejudice, suggesting they might miss out on something great if they dismiss it outright. Below that, there's a call to action requesting fans to send in their hopes for a Saturn port of Mega Man Legends. This section encourages readers to voice their support and even include illustrations. Related to the recent exhibition, a section offers gifts for those who couldn't attend, including event-exclusive magazine extras. There are also ongoing application drives. One is for designs for original seals for the 4 MB expansion RAM cartridge, mentioned in the context of X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Another is a humorous call to name the car of someone named Ozzy. Finally, the bottom half features Shaiki Akimoto's American Comic Lecture Volume 6, focusing on the Marvel character Sabretooth. This article likely delves into the character's background and appearances in comics and potentially games like X-Men vs. Street Fighter. It includes character art of Sabretooth. This page is all about the long-awaited appearance of Akuma in Street Fighter II's Second Impact. It highlights his debut in the series and discusses his power and characteristics. As a hidden character, Akuma, Guki, makes his return, having previously appeared in other Street Fighter titles. The article notes that, similar to his past iterations, he has unique strengths and weaknesses compared to Ryu and Ken. While he retains core moves like the Hadouken, Shoryuken, and Tatsumaki Senpukyaku, he also brings new attacks and variations fitting the Street Fighter II system, including air versions of moves and specific target combos. The reviewer observes that his style in this game feels somewhat akin to his appearance in the Street Fighter Alpha/Zero series. Like other characters in Second Impact, Akuma possesses 3 super arts. The article mentions his signature moves translated into super arts, including a powerful version of the Hadouken, Misatsu Gu Hadu, and a new aerial kick technique similar to Ken's Shippu Jinrai Kyaku. The most impactful is, of course, his Raging Demon, Shungoku Satsu, confirming its inclusion and providing the input command. Screenshots show Akuma fighting Alex, the super art selection menu listing his 3 options, and the visual effect of the Raging Demon. Finally, the page reveals that beyond the standard 6 color options available by using P and K buttons, there are hidden colors for characters, accessible by pressing the weak kick and strong punch buttons simultaneously. This guide, crafted by SEGA AMR&D Department No. 3, provides a strategy for the city course in SEGA's arcade racer, Le Mans 24. Building on a previous guide for the Sarthe circuit, it focuses on the challenging layout of the city course, emphasizing the need for skillful driving, especially due to its tight corners. The guide acknowledges that the track's design makes maintaining high gears difficult, recommending manual transmission users downshift frequently, particularly for hairpins. The guide highlights 2 critical sections with screenshots and map references. Point 1 advises against cutting the S-curve after the start. Point 2 details a downhill left corner leading into a high-speed left turn, suggesting a specific gear and throttle control strategy to optimize speed and grip. The guide, illustrated with gameplay shots, a track map, and potentially bonus content featuring Sonic, is aimed at advanced players employing techniques like the Super Drift to master the course's intricate layout. The next page continues the detailed driving guide for Le Mans 24 city course, offering specific tips for corners point 3 through point 8. It covers how to tackle difficult hairpins using engine braking, manage complex corner sequences with precise throttle control, navigate the tunnel exit safely, and master the final corner strategy. Building on these crucial techniques, the page then dives into a section showcasing exciting hidden features. Players can unlock the legendary Porsche 917K, a powerful car perfect for endurance races, and even change their car's color for a fresh look. The biggest surprises are the ability to race with the unique Sonic buggy and the Pochi Pochi buggy, driven by a mysterious dog, which also changes your team director to Steven Ogasawara, who offers a humorous note on his appearance. The page is filled with screenshots illustrating these driving points and revealing the special unlockable content. This page features an in-depth look at the official reference book for Cybertroopers Virtualon, titled Schematic, presented as an interview with Dr. Watari, who was heavily involved in its creation. He explains the book serves as a comprehensive guide to the Virtualon universe, and includes contributions from the development team. Dr. Watari details his role in writing key sections of the book's lore, specifically parts of New Orthodoxy and New Traditionalists. He touches upon the writing process, noting the significant effort required over 2 months, mostly on weekends, to create content that he describes as dense and requiring thoughtful reading. He feels the book's depth sets it apart from others in the genre. Candidly, he mentions that the book regrettably contains errors due to production issues, but confirms plans to correct them in future reprints. The page includes a large illustration of a Virtualon mecha, highlighting the book itself with its title, publisher, price, and page count, along with a photo of the featured individual. This page continues the discussion around the official reference book for Cybertroopers Virtualon, Schematic, specifically addressing the errors mentioned previously. The main feature is an extensive errata list, detailing corrections needed for various pages and sections of the book. This table clearly outlines the locations and specifics of the errors, providing fixes for readers. Below the table, the dialogue with Dr. Watari resumes. He acknowledges the corrections and expresses hope that the errata helps users. The conversation also touches upon the future, hinting at ongoing work and potentially future projects within the Virtualon universe, including a mention of Oratan. Dr. Watari assures readers that, despite the issues with the book, work continues smoothly on other fronts. The page emphasizes the development team's commitment to the Virtualeculon franchise and correcting the record for dedicated fans. This page features the AM2 Express weekly column, Volume 77. The focus is a significant recruitment drive for development staff at AM2, led directly by the division's renowned head, Yu Suzuki, who is featured with a large photo. Following a successful recruitment effort in the summer, AM2 is once again seeking new talent. The main message comes from Yu Suzuki himself, emphasizing that AM2 is one of SEGA's largest and leading development divisions, constantly working on numerous exciting projects, including many unreleased games. He states they are specifically looking for programmers and CG designers, highlighting the opportunity to work on groundbreaking games and experience the development process firsthand. The recruitment details specify the roles: game programmers, focusing on video game software development using C and assembly languages, and CG designers, involved in CG modeling and animation, often using SGI workstations. A recruitment condition is also noted. Applicants should be under 30 years old. A small screenshot of a 3D dancing game is included, illustrating the kind of work involved in 3D CG programming, mentioned as a desired skill or experience for applicants. Yu Suzuki encourages interested individuals to take this chance and join AM2 in creating games. This page features a Q&A session, addressing common questions about the AM2 recruitment drive previously discussed. Key questions answered include the age limit, clarifying that while younger applicants are often preferred for certain programming roles like assembly, talent and skill are valued at any age, especially for stack language programmers. It's confirmed that applications are specifically for AM2, and successful candidates will join that division. The page also emphasizes that women are absolutely welcome and encouraged to apply for both programming and design roles. Regarding experience, it stated that experience is beneficial, particularly for programmers and those familiar with 3D graphics tools. The page also highlights some of AM2's output, listing games released in 1997, such as Virtua Striker 2, Scud Race, and Virtua Fighter 3 TB, featuring screenshots of each. It notes that while these were the 1997 releases, AM2 is actively developing many new titles. Additional recruitment needs are listed for specific roles including network administrator, tool programmer, and video game promoter, each with brief job descriptions and requirements. Finally, the page provides clear application guidelines, detailing where to send application documents, the interview process, general work conditions at SEGA HQ, and encouraging interested individuals to apply. This page features Zero Divide, The Final Conflict, a 3D polygonal fighting game making its debut on the SEGA Saturn. Developed by Zoom, the game is set to launch on November 20, 1997. Priced at 5,800 yen, the page highlights the game's futuristic premise, revolving around advanced network communication and AI programs. It describes a conflict initiated by events called XTAL events, and the emergence of aggressive programs like Zulu. The story centers on the revival of a malevolent program, also named XTAL, which Zulu seeks to prevent, rallying other evolved aggressive programs to stop it. Screenshots scattered across the page demonstrate the game's 3D fighting engine and character designs, showing the intense mechanical combat. The overall presentation emphasizes the game's technical nature and its focus on delivering a solid polygonal fighting experience. This page presents the 40th installment of a column discussing the subtle relationship between games and art, titled The Touch of Processing. It focuses on the Konami cyberpunk adventure game, Snatcher, released in March 1996. The article explores the game's premise, which involves mysterious life forms called Snatchers invading human society, killing people, and taking their place. The core gameplay revolves around the player character, a Junker, Japanese undercover Neurokey executive ranger, investigating and processing these Snatchers. A reviewer notes the game's cold, detached atmosphere and compares its world setting to Blade Runner. They highlight the use of the term processing for dealing with Snatchers, suggesting they are treated more like targets or objects than sentient beings, despite their human appearance. This perceived coldness, stemming from the game's digital nature, is something the reviewer appreciates, finding it distinct from the emotional connection often felt in literature or film. Snatchers, in this context, are simply obstacles to overcome for game progression. The page also includes an illustration related to the manga Parasite, Kiseiju, which the reviewer mentions in relation to the type of unsettling themes explored. A portrait and profile of Dr. Fuse, presumably the author of the article, are also featured. The Snatcher screenshot displayed depicts a graphic scene, illustrating the game's mature themes. The next page features a weekly astrology forecast column. It's presented by Mother of Hakozaki, a fortune teller with over 20 years of experience, who apparently offers advice to the magazine's editors. The page highlights a lucky person of the week, identified as a Scorpio, born between October 24th and November 22nd. Their profile includes a screenshot from the King of Fighters 95 on the SEGA Saturn, a classic fighting game published by SNK. The forecast for this lucky individual includes a summary of their week across different aspects like gambling luck, health, work/study, and love, noting a decrease in gambling luck but improvements elsewhere, with study being particularly favorable. The main body of the page provides a detailed weekly fortune for all 12 zodiac signs, covering the period from November 21st to November 27th. Each sign's forecast is split into sections for men and women, offering specific advice for the week ahead and listing a key to fortune, which is a lucky item or action. The bottom of the page includes a guide to rating symbols, ranging from excellent to a bit lacking. This page features the Reader's Submitted Saturn Technique Corner, highlighting various secret tricks for SEGA Saturn games submitted by readers. Prizes are awarded based on the rank of the tip, ranging from 2 Saturn games for the top rank to 2,000 yen in book vouchers for the third rank. The column presents tips for several titles. For assault rigs, there's a code to gain full armament and invincibility right from the start, a trick for shining the Holy Ark, or potentially Shining Force 2. Allows players to start with the best equipment in gold by using specific names for the main character, such as Noble or Zeldo Narshield. In Street Fighter Collection, specifically for Street Fighter Alpha 2, you can change the character selection order in survival mode by holding AL or LAER while choosing. Magical Drop 2 I has a secret where characters will speak during chains in Hitasura mode, triggered by quickly pressing the start button 8 times during the Ready Start announcement. Finally, Digital Pinball. Last Gladiators Ver 9.7 includes a command input at the title screen, up, up, down, down, left, right, BAXX, to view a plasma animation test. The bottom section invites readers to submit their own secret techniques, detailing how to send them in, and mentioning that prizes are given based on the rank of the adopted tip. This page features the SEGA Saturn Soft Review Corner, where upcoming software is tested by the editorial department before release. The section includes reviews from various perspectives: women users, high rollers, and guest writers, giving a range of opinions on the latest titles. First up is a review of Magical School Lunar, Woot, an RPG spin-off set in the world of Lunar. Reviewers noted its brighter and lighter tone compared to the main series, praising its well-made scenario. However, some found the game too simple, lacking in new elements, or having issues like a high encounter rate. Scores ranged from 6 to 7. The second title reviewed is SEGA Ages / Memorial Selection Volume 2, a collection of classic SEGA games. This volume includes titles like Sinbad Mystery and Ninja Princess. Reviewers commented on the nostalgia these games evoked, with some finding the collection enjoyable and the included games well selected. Others reflected on how the games hold up compared to their memories or other titles from the era. The scores reflect varied opinions on the collection's appeal today. Finally, a section called Reviewers' Preferences gives a brief look into the personal gaming tastes and habits of some of the reviewers. This segment reviews 3 SEGA Saturn games. SEGA Touring Car Championship, the arcade port, received mixed reviews, with praise for its speed and battle feel, but criticism for control issues and graphical limitations. Some reviewers compared it to Daytona, while others found it less accessible to beginners. Scores ranged from 6 to 7. Gaia Breeder, a creature breeding simulation, was noted for its detailed creature raising, though it suffered from limited creature variety and repetitive gameplay. However, the unique concept and visual style earned some positive feedback. Scores were between 6 and 8. Hitsu no Shima Monogatari, an adventure game with RPG elements, garnered positive comments for its graphics, unique scenario, and engaging atmosphere. Some found its slow pace and item management frustrating. The narrative style and charming characters were also highlighted. Scores ranged from 6 to 9. This page reviews 3 upcoming SEGA Saturn games. Warcraft 2. Dark Saga, a real-time strategy game, received praise for its atmosphere and addictive gameplay, though its Japanese localization and story clarity were criticized compared to the PC version. X-Men vs. Street Fighter, a fighting game port, is lauded as a near-perfect arcade recreation, particularly due to the inclusion of the required 4 MB RAM expansion cartridge, leading to smooth gameplay and vibrant visuals. Finally, Vandal Hearts, a tactical RPG, is highlighted for its detailed graphics, dark fantasy atmosphere, and engaging gameplay. The Saturn version offers enhancements like improved cursor handling, making it a recommended experience. This page reviews 3 upcoming SEGA Saturn titles across different genres. First up is Narrated, a science fiction simulation game. Reviewers note its somewhat retro feel and challenging gameplay. While the characters and story are appreciated, critics found the interface clunky, especially for movement and getting enemy information. The difficulty is highlighted as a major barrier for new players, though one reviewer suggests dedicated players might find strategic depth. Overall, it seems to be a game that struggled with usability, despite potential underlying systems, reflected in consistently low scores. Next is Bluebreaker, Yoriken Yori Hohoemi wo, an RPG with dating simulation elements. Praised for its unique blend and appealing character designs, the game is seen as catering to a specific niche, potentially fans of titles like Tokimeki Memorial. Reviewers appreciated the interface and combat, but some felt the graphics and movement were outdated. Confusion over objectives and a lack of clear direction were also points of criticism for one reviewer, while another found significant depth for those willing to explore its secrets. Finally, the page features Bubble Symphony, the follow-up to the classic Bubble Bobble. This action puzzle game is warmly received, building upon the beloved original with enhanced graphics and sound. Reviewers found it challenging but highly addictive, filled with secrets and replayability. The simple yet deep gameplay, combined with the charming aesthetic and characters, makes it a strong entry in the series and a recommended title, particularly for fans. This page reviews 3 upcoming SEGA Saturn games. Binari, One Furlong Gekiju, a horse racing sim with talking, anthropomorphic horses. Reviews were mixed. Some enjoyed the charm and interactions, but others criticized the simplified simulation and lack of clear mechanics. Refrain Love, a dating sim praised for its high production quality and character designs. However, frustrations arose from a lack of clear information on character parameters and early game-saving issues, hindering the experience for some. DJ Wars, a music simulation game where players DJ. The concept was interesting, but the execution was divisive. Some appreciated the challenge and aesthetic, while others found it lacked structure and polish, making it a niche title. The next page dives into some diverse upcoming releases, starting with a couple of Pradal disc digital photo collections. Volume 7 features the energetic Kaori ASOU, packed with photos from her Okinawa trip, and Volume 8 showcases Kumiko Furukawa's powerful charm, both including minigames for extra fun. Message Navi Volume 1 presents a unique concept, acting as a personal information search tool that lets you look up people by various criteria, even phone numbers, offering a novel way to potentially connect with others. Next up is a collection of Yoshiyuki Sadamoto illustrations, heavily featuring Neon Genesis Evangelion. This release stands out for including commentary directly from the artist, although note that the audio quality seems a bit rough. The big preview is for Yuno, a girl who chants love at the edge of the world, a legendary adventure game ported from PC. The reviewer highly praises its incredible story and balance system, calling it a well-trained game, and strongly recommending it, even if you're not typically into the genre. Finally, there's a quick look at other November releases. Pro Mahjong Kiwame S, the strategy RPG Terra Fantastica, the side-scrolling action of Mobile Suit Gundam, and Fire Pro Wrestling S. 6-Men Scramble, notable for its 6-player simultaneous match mode. The next page presents a comprehensive release schedule for upcoming SEGA Saturn titles. It includes a helpful legend explaining abbreviations for game genres like Action, ACT, RPG, Adventure, ADV, Simulation, SLG, Shooting, SHT, Sports, SPT, Racing, RAC, Puzzle, PUZ, and others, as well as compatible peripherals such as the mouse, multi-terminal 6, racing controller, and twin stick. It also notes age recommendations and symbols indicating new software or title changes. The main content is a detailed list of games with their release dates, covering late November, December, and some undecided titles, prices, manufacturers, genres, and compatibility details. This list features a wide array of games across all genres. Looking through, you see major releases like X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which requires the 4 MB RAM cartridge, the classic strategy RPG Vandal Hearts, the highly anticipated Grandia, the next entry in the beloved Sakura Wars series, and the stylish action RPG Princess Crown. There are also notable Japanese exclusive titles and ports of popular arcade games. It's a packed schedule, showing the diversity of the Saturn library at the time. The next page continues the comprehensive schedule of upcoming SEGA Saturn software releases. This section details games slated for release throughout early to mid-1998, alongside numerous titles with undecided launch dates. The list is extensive, covering a wide spectrum of genres, including RPGs, adventure games, action titles, simulations, and more. Among the notable entries are the highly anticipated sequel Riven, the sequel to Myst, the classic arcade fighter, The King of Fighters, 97 and Vampire Savior, the next chapters in the beloved Shining Force 2i saga, Scenario 2 and 3, and significant ports like Resident Evil 2, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Suikoden, and The House of the Dead. Racing fans can look forward to Wipeout XL, while platformer enthusiasts might be interested in Rayman 2. The schedule also highlights various Japanese exclusive series continuations, such as Sakura Wars 2, Langrisser, Dramatic Edition, and Princess Maker, Yumemiru Yusei. The compatibility details note support for various peripherals like the mouse and modem, and indicate titles like fighting games that require the 4 MB RAM cartridge for optimal performance. Overall, the page paints a picture of a packed release calendar, with a diverse range of games catering to all tastes. This page features a comprehensive mail-order catalog from SEGA Saturn Magazine, offering fans a wide array of merchandise related to popular Sega and anime properties. Ordering details are provided, including a phone number and operating hours, alongside a special present offer for customers spending over 10,000 yen. The catalog showcases items from several beloved series. There are 1998 calendars featuring Neon Genesis Evangelion, Martian successor Nadesico, and Sakura Wars, each presented with small preview images. A selection of finished soft vinyl figures of Kubu mechs from Sakura Wars is available in various colors, representing different characters. The sentimental graffiti section includes figures from the series. A significant portion is dedicated to Sakura Wars merchandise, featuring Zippo lighters with character and logo designs, action dolls in both casual and battle attire, smaller scale figures, and even plush dolls. Visuals show the detailed craftsmanship of the dolls and lighters. The page also includes t-shirts from the fighting game Last Bronx, displaying different designs. Finally, Neon Genesis Evangelion fans can find Zippo lighters and posters, or large collage prints, featuring key art and characters from the series. Overall, it's a diverse collection of collectibles catering to fans of Sega's key franchises and popular contemporary anime. The SEGA Saturn Magazine mail-order catalog continues, showcasing merchandise for fans. Featured are items from popular franchises like Neon Genesis, Evangelion, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Virtua Fighter 3. Evangelion fans can purchase collectible dolls and accessories. Sonic enthusiasts have access to apparel and plush toys. Virtua Fighter devotees can buy character-themed clothing and a PC CD-ROM. The Etc. section includes items from Martian successor Nadesico and Mazinger Z. The page outlines the ordering process, including payment methods like bank transfers and cash via registered mail. Shipping is a flat 650 yen nationwide. An order form is provided, along with contact information for inquiries. The catalog page provides a direct way for fans to acquire merchandise from their favorite Sega and anime properties. This page focuses on reader interaction and upcoming content. The information section previews the next issue, promising features on SEGA Saturn-related books, in-depth articles on Uno and Grandia as they approach release, details on new titles, and updates on Virtual On. The main part of the page is the Reader's Present section. It outlines how readers can apply for prizes by sending in a postcard with their information and desired gift. The deadline for applications is December 5th. It also lists the winners from the November 7th issue's giveaway, featuring names of people who won prizes like SEGA Saturn software, a digital watch, phone cards, a music CD, and a poster. The page then details the presents available in this issue's giveaway. Up for grabs are 20 copies of SEGA Saturn software that were released by November 21st, a calendar featuring Yoshitaka Amano's illustrations from 1001 Nights for 3 winners, and 10 Kyun Kyun Bunny extra underlays, recommended for use as posters due to their size. Also offered are 5 Super Real Mahjong P7 letter sets, complete with paper and envelopes featuring characters from the game, and 5 Pong Vector name tags, described as accessories similar to dog tags. The page also provides contact information for magazine inquiries and notes. The magazine's release date is November 28th. This page features a vibrant advertisement for the SEGA Saturn romance role-playing game, Blue Breaker. The artwork showcases a large cast of anime characters, emphasizing the game's focus on interactions and relationships, highlighted by the tagline, "More than a sword, a smile." The main character is prominently displayed at the bottom. The page announces the release date of November 27th, noting that the date had previously changed, and highlights that the game is now just 1 week away from launch. It also mentions a special, luxurious bonus included for early purchasers. Developed by Human Entertainment, Blue Breaker on the Saturn was known for its character focus and dating simulation elements intertwined with traditional RPG mechanics. This page features a prominent teaser for the game D2, presented with large orange letters and the phrase, "runs under, below." Developed by Warp Inc., the page includes their contact information and website at the bottom. While D2 became most famous as a launch title for the Dreamcast console, this appearance in a SEGA Saturn magazine from late 1997 suggests it was in development or being promoted for the Saturn platform before the focus shifted to the next console generation. Along the right side, the page provides publication details for the SEGA Saturn magazine, indicating it is the issue dated December 5, 1997, Volume 13, Number 42, priced at 290 yen. The background consists of a dramatic, abstract blend of white, red, and black colors,